So there I was, freezing to death in a snowdrift outside a slum, weighing about as much as a wet towel, when the boy I'd been in love with since I was 6 finally came back for me. He was 4 years late. I was already under the snow. Let me back up because the ending doesn't make sense until you've seen the paperwork. Tsinghua country, high city, the outskirts, the slums. A woman in a long black down jacket, black pants, black sneakers, a basket on her back, a frame on her front, struggling through half a meter of snow, following her own footprints back in. 2 hours of that. By the end, her hands were skeletal, black and numb. She put the frame down, reached in her pocket for the key, and her hands shook so hard she couldn't work the lock. Cupped them, blew on them, rubbed them together, 5 or 6 minutes before feeling came back. Then she got the door open. And here's the house, brick and tile, 20 square meters, 1 cabinet, 1 bed, 2 thin cotton quilts, 1 to lie on, 1 to lie under, and a coal stove under the bed. Burning firewood. It's a coal stove, there's no coal in it. That's the whole biography right there, and we're 4 sentences in. She brought the branches in, the ones she'd just spent 2 hours in the mountains getting, threw 2 in the stove, moved 3 bricks out from under the bed and stacked them next to it. Then sat on the bricks, warming herself, lost in thought. That's the furniture, 3 bricks. Remember the bricks, they come back. Knock knock, Mei Li, open the door. Startled out of the daze, sighed, slowly got up, opened it. Why are you here again? Can you not come? Unfriendly, very unfriendly. He ignored that entirely, squeezed past her, set a cloth bag against the wall, noticed the inside of the house was the same temperature as the outside of the house. Zhou Mei Li, is this your integrity? It's been 2 years. How much longer do you plan to stay here? This is my home. Where else would I go? A bitter smile. Her eyes went sore. And when she felt the tears start coming up on their own, she turned slightly so he wouldn't see her face. Mei Li, is this really your home? I don't need to remind you what kind of life you used to live, do I? Do you need to treat yourself like this? Come home with me. I still have your room saved, don't worry. I'll treat you well. Voice full of affection, walked up behind her, put his arms around her waist. Li Kai, please, just let me go. You're already married. I'm doing very well here. She's living in an unheated brick box eating sticks, and I'm doing very well here, is the line she picks. She'd rather lie about the sticks than owe him a room. Forcibly pried his hands off her waist, broke out of it, held her own hands up. Li Kai, look at me. These hands are probably worse than chicken claws, and look at my face. If I told people I was 35 right now, they'd believe me. You are not lacking women. What exactly do you want coming here? What do I want? Peace of mind? He pursed his lips, looked at her aged, haggard face with a hint of complexity. What could I want? Nothing more than for you to live better. I could live better if you didn't come. And he didn't get angry. Walked to the corner, started taking things out of the bag one by one. Mei Li, I brought you a lot. Rice, noodles, peanuts, potatoes. Look, I even brought you candy and half a bag of charcoal. Don't go up the mountain anymore. It's torture below 30 degrees. Just use these. She didn't speak, so he hugged her again. Sighed. Tell me, how much food have I sent you these past 2 years? How are you still this thin? Even if you won't come with me, you can't stop eating. I can afford to support you. Eat as much as you want. And when you're done, come find me. Your bedroom's still there. I haven't let anyone else live in it. And before she could struggle or refuse, he let go. I'm going. I'll come see you next time. She'm leave. 2 men followed him out like bodyguards. It's been like this 2 years, and she doesn't know why Li Kai suddenly became a key protection target. Hold that thought. That one matters later. And she didn't close the door. Sat on the bed, blankly, waiting for someone. She left the door open because she knows the schedule. Less than half an hour. A beautiful woman in a purple mink coat and high-heeled leather boots stormed in and swung at her face. Dodged it. Then 2 people came in, subdued her, and tied her hands behind her back. Slap. Left cheek. Slap. That one put her on the floor. Olitz, why don't you just die? You're in the slums, so stay here quietly. Why do you have to get between Li Kai and me again? How can you be so cheap? Cursing, beating her, and while cursing, Fang Min started to cry. Mei Li, we've known each other so many years. Why do you always have to stand between us? We've been married 3 years. Do you see? I'm 6 months pregnant. Why does he come find you? Why can't he let YouTube? Screaming hysterically, kicking her over and over. She's beating a starving woman on a dirt floor, while sobbing about how unfair it is. Nobody in this room is having a good day, but only one of them is tied up. A hint of mockery on Mei Li's lips. Fang Min, are you sure it's me? Did I really interfere in your relationship? If it were possible, I'd rather have never met either of you. Li Kai and I broke up 3 or 4 years ago. I have not contacted him once. Your husband, he's a bit of a playboy, isn't he? I hear your household has several wildflowers. What, are the wildflowers more fragrant than the house flower? Is that why you're here bothering me? Tied up, on the floor, 2 guys holding her down, and she goes for the throat anyway. The anger surged again, because that's the painful secret. Kicked her in the abdomen, repeatedly. Yes, I'm bothering you, you bitch! If I can't deal with them, can't I deal with you? Zombie Mei Li, why do you, an orphan, get to be superior? Why can you, an orphan, live like a princess, while I could only look up at you from the dust? Heh, now your house is mine. Your boyfriend is mine. Everything you have is mine. Her expression grew more and more frantic, her deeply hidden thoughts spilling out. Until she noticed Zhou Mei Li had stopped moving. Only then did her mind clear, followed by a surge of panic. You two, come in and throw her out. Let the cold sober her up. Quickly regained her composure, called people in to clean up her mess. And about those two, they were originally assigned to Li Kai by their superiors, and because Fang Min got pregnant, they were transferred to her for her safety. And she's extremely skilled at handling interpersonal relationships. In 2 months, she'd won over both of them. You two, take everything in this room and split it. I looked, it's all good stuff. Softly, when they came back in. And if you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, you would never imagine that the gentle person in front of them was the frantic abuser from 90 seconds ago. Really? Thank you, madam! Exchanged glances, faces lighting up with joy. They've been here more than once, and every time they get a month of food out of this place. Li Kai brings her food. Fang Min brings men to take the food. That's the loop. 2 years of that loop. That's why she's still this thin, and he keeps asking her why she's still this thin. When have I ever lied to you? But it's the old rule. Don't tell the mister when you get back. If either of you lets it slip, don't blame me for being merciless. Smiling, with the ruthlessness in her eyes not hidden at all. Their hearts trembled. They quickly said they wouldn't dare. And that's right. In these times, having food to eat is better than anything. It's not easy to stay alive. As for the person they just threw outside, what did she have to do with them? Fang Min could guess their thoughts. A contemptuous smile. Left without looking back. And so nobody in this story is a monster. Everybody's just very reasonable. 1601, 16th floor, Building 6, Zone B, Qingyu Community. Fang Min hugging Li Kai, softly. Husband. Have you gone to see Mei Li recently? Last time I saw her, she was so thin. Next time you go, take me with you, and let's bring her more food, okay? He saw her bring Mei Li up on her own and didn't hide anything. I went today, brought her food. I thought you'd be unhappy if I mentioned her. How could I be? We've known Mei Li almost 10 years. And besides, this house originally belonged to Mei Li's family. I really want to bring her back. That way someone can keep me and the baby company. Smiled slightly, eyes full of expectation. She's sitting in the dead girl's apartment, volunteering to go visit the body she made, with snacks. Heh, Fang Min, you really have the nerve. Don't you know why Mei Li is so thin? Liu Xiaojuan had just gotten home and heard the saccharine voice and didn't even bother closing the door properly before scoffing. Xiaojuan, what are you saying? It's not easy to survive these days. Everyone out there is skin and bones. We're just lucky to be with Li Kai. Otherwise, how could we eat a full meal? You shouldn't take your good fortune for granted. She's not afraid of being told on, because Zhou Mei Li is going to die anyway, so there'd be no proof. You, a snake with a scorpion's heart, honey on your lips and daggers behind them. And although she detests the two-faced act, Liu Xiaojuan wouldn't expose it herself. Because there are already quite a few women in this house, and adding another? Heh! She doesn't want trouble for her own baby, and besides, she can't win against Fang Min. Oh, husband! The baby kicked me! The baby must be unhappy, knowing someone is slandering his mother. Wronged expression, which gave Li Kai a pang of pity. Control your foul temper. You're like a firecracker every single day. Can't you learn to be gentle and considerate like Min? Left arm around Fang Min, right hand on the bulging belly, yelling at Liu Xiaozhuan. You guys, One angry, one defiant. She wished she could scratch that fake face off. And then she met Li Kai's dangerous gaze and suddenly deflated and went into the bedroom without a word. 2 seconds of belly, and the man reorganized reality. That's the trick. That's the whole trick. And it works every time. Alas, I heard that before the apocalypse, Xiaozhuan and Mei Li were in the same circle. I didn't expect their temperaments to be so different. Yes, Mei Li, she's very gentle, just a bit too stubborn. Freeze right there. Before the apocalypse. He just said it like you'd say, before the pandemic. Casual, filed, old news. We are not in the setup of this story. We are somewhere after the setup, and the world already ended once, and everybody just kept going to work. Husband, the slum environment is really too bad. Let's go again tomorrow. I'll tell Mei Li I'm pregnant and ask her to come take care of me. We're best friends. I'm sure she'll be willing. Okay, you've worked hard. Smiled, hugged her tightly, completely oblivious to the mockery on her face. Bring her back tomorrow? It'd be a miracle if Li Kai was willing to take her back. Heh. There are already 4 women in this house. Absolutely no one else is coming in who might threaten Fang Min's position. The slum. Heh. A low murmur in the hallway, like an illusion. Nobody inside the door noticed the tall man outside, taking in every one of their expressions. He doesn't know what happened these past few years, or why Mei Li left this place. But he's back, and as long as he finds Mei Li, everything becomes clear. Turned, left, headed for the outskirts. Nobody in that apartment felt a thing, and the whole rest of their lives just walked past the door. Night fell, the wind rose, the snow kept coming. He walked and asked, and finally found her address. Stood at the door, heart pounding like a drum. Because he doesn't know how to explain disappearing for years, or whether she'd even be willing to see him. Occurred with such difficulty, all of it for her. Mustered his courage, knocked gently. No answer. Still no answer. A fictitious premonition surged. He pushed hard, the door opened. Nobody inside, or rather, nothing inside, except 3 bricks on the ground. They came back. They're the only thing left. He recalled the conversation he'd just heard in that hallway, and sadness welled up. Something has happened to Mei Li. Turned, ran to the neighbors, knocked. In a quiet winter night, that sound carries very far. And not one of them opened. Because it was clear he was here for revenge. And although they hadn't harmed the girl, they had stood by and done nothing. And afterward, they divided up the meager possessions left in her house. Open the door! If you don't open it, I'll tear your house down. Open the door! He no longer cared about morals or laws. He just wanted to know where she was. Maybe the neighbor figured he wouldn't leave otherwise, so the door opened, tremblingly. You! What do you want? Door opened a crack, face showing, left hand on the wall, right hand holding a cleaver against the door. Where's the girl from next door? Where did Zhou Mei Li go? Roaring, eyes bloodshot. I don't know. Eyes darting, not daring to say what he knew, afraid of retaliation. Tell the truth! Pushed, the door swung open. The unprepared neighbor hit the floor, and Yu Heng Zhi took the cleaver out of his hand. And the neighbor saw that and was terrified. This afternoon, 2 groups came looking for her, 1 man, 1 woman, both with people. The woman carried Zhou Mei Li out when she left. Carried her where? I don't know, toward the mountains. You can look there. He put the knife down on the table and ran wildly in the direction the finger pointed. Oh my God, I was scared to death, patting his chest, breathing heavily, legs still trembling. Thankfully, he wasn't looking for revenge. He put the knife down, buddy. That was the mercy. That was the whole allotment, and you spent it and didn't even notice. And out there he stood on the snow, looking around. Mountains in front, slum behind, left and right the view stretching endlessly, all of it a vast expanse of white. Mei Li, where should I look for you? His tears came down on their own, and before they could slide off his face, they froze. He looked up at the moon. It was full. And he couldn't find his Mei Li. And then he saw a patch of black in all that white, about the size of a palm. He ran at it. He got there. He reached out and brushed the fallen snow away. And under the snow was Mei Li. It was actually Mei Li with a barely perceptible breath. He sat cross-legged in the snow and held her, right hand on her swollen cheek, calling out over and over. Mei Li, I'm back! Your Heng Zhi is back! Please open your eyes and look, okay? Mei Li, I'm sorry. I came back late. You've suffered these past years. Mei Li, wake up and tell Heng Zhi who bullied you. I'll help you get revenge, okay? Mei Li, I'm sorry. I'll never leave you again. One night passed in the wind and the snow. Then another night passed in the wind and the snow. And another. Hey, old Li, going to chop wood? It's too cold. What I prepared before isn't enough. And look, more people have frozen to death. I hadn't heard. Over by the mountain, 2 people, hugging each other. That's it. That's the whole obituary. 2 men on a road, on the way to get firewood, mentioning it like the weather. Because it is the weather now. He looked for her for 4 years, found her in the last hour she was alive, and held her until they were both part of the landscape. And the world's entire response was one sentence between neighbors. And that's where the story would have ended, except it doesn't. Qinghai University, Dormitory Building 9, Room 402, Heng Zhi, murmuring, like she was saying something, and also like she was saying nothing at all. Mei Li, wake up, get up, let's go to the infirmary. Yang Qingyue touched her forehead, a bit hot, covered in sweat, got anxious, pushed her awake. Sat up abruptly, and what met her eyes was a snow-white wall, and what was in her ears was a familiar voice. Mei Li, you have a fever. Shall we go get it looked at? She slowly turned her head toward the sound. Yang Qingyue. Then she looked again. Wasn't this the dormitory? Touched her pounding heart. Slowly. Might just want to lie down a bit. Do you have fever medicine? At least take something before you sleep. Tell me, you just went to a concert. How do you come back with a fever? Picked up her thermos, took Mei Li's cup, poured her water. I didn't expect it either. Maybe I wore too little last night. Let me look. My medicine should be here. Climbed down from the top bunk, took out her key, opened the cabinet, and started searching according to her memory. She knows where it is. Not because she looked, because she remembers being this person. 2 pills down, climbed back up, sat there somewhat blankly. Didn't I want to open my eyes and see Heng Zhi when I heard his voice? How did I end up back in the dormitory the moment I opened them? Zhuang Cheng's morning dream. Was the self in the snowy night real? Or is the self at this moment real? Or both? And she hoped. She hoped that this, right now, was rebirth. Miss Qingyue, how did you find out I had a fever? Since she's the only one in the dorm at the moment. Look at your phone. What time is it? 9:30. You get up way earlier than this normally. Today I waited, and you still weren't getting up. And when I finally looked, the sweat on your head was practically reflecting light. Finished. Picked up her cup, took a sip. Want coffee? You just took medicine, I don't know if you can. Or wait a bit, I'll give it to you at noon, okay? She'd seen Mei Li staring eagerly at her and assumed she wanted to try the new coffee. Okay, it smells super good. Smiling, tears welling up. Because life right now is truly good. She can eat whatever she wants. She hasn't had coffee in 2 or 3 years, and smelling it now, she was indeed a bit tempted. She's crying at a cup of instant coffee, and her roommate thinks she's being dramatic about the brand. Miss Qingyue, what are you doing? Writing my graduation thesis. Sigh, it's driving me crazy. Out of the 4 of us in this dorm, I'm the only one who hasn't finished. Look, everyone who finished is out having fun, and I'm the only old problem child struggling alone. Bitter expression, shaking her head, complaining while her fingers keep typing, her train of thought completely unbroken. And hearing that, Mei Li remembered. In her previous life, her own thesis was done very early, and the defense went smoothly. And young Qingyue had very high standards for herself. To stay in high city and earn outstanding graduate, she meticulously refined that thesis. Miss Qingyue, keep up the good work. Your thesis is going to be an excellent one. Smiling encouragingly. Ha! I'll take your good wishes. Chuckled happily at the compliment. She's not guessing. She graded it already, 4 years ago, in a life that hasn't happened yet. Lay back, picked up her phone, checked the date. March 6th, 2257, 1 year before the apocalypse. So she has a year to make some preparations, however small. Okay, deep breath. Here's what she's holding. She knows the exact day the world ends. She knows which of her best friends is going to beat her to death on a dirt floor. She knows the boy is coming back, and she knows he's coming back 4 years too late. She's 20-something, she's in a college dorm, she has a thesis due, and she has a year. And the first thing she does with all of it? Spent the morning looking at news and short videos on her phone, until noon, when she and young Qingyue went to the cafeteria. I want braised pork, a big chicken drumstick, sweet and sour ribs, broccoli, and mapo tofu. Looking at the menu board, mouth-watering. Ha! Can you really eat all that? Order 2 fewer and we'll have them next time. And by the way, don't you never eat braised pork? I haven't had it in a long time. I miss it a bit. Ordered braised pork, broccoli, a small rice. Yang Qingyue got tomato and egg over rice. Pushed both dishes to the middle. Miss Qingyue, let's eat together. Picked up a piece of braised pork, ate it, bite by bite. So delicious. She hasn't eaten meat in so long. Forget meat, she hasn't had a full meal in a very long time. And as she ate, the tears started coming down. Oh no, Mei Li, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Looked up, saw it, yanked a tissue out of her bag, wiped her face. Thank you, Sister Wenyuan. I'm fine. I just feel too happy. Being able to eat whatever I want. It feels truly super happy. Took the tissue, wiped her tears, said it earnestly. She's not crying about the pork. She's crying because 3 days ago, or 4 years from now, depending how you count, she was under a snowdrift, and the last warm thing in her life was a man's arms, and she never got to open her eyes and tell him she heard him. And now there's pork, and a roommate with a tissue, and a thesis, and a year. 365 days, and a girl who already knows exactly how everyone in this cafeteria dies. Ask me again what she buys first. Nothing. Not yet. Because she has to go back to the dorm, and her killer lives there. Hehe. As long as you're happy. She genuinely didn't understand what was so happy about a bowl of braised pork, but there was no need to dwell on it. Mei Li didn't mind either. After lunch, back to the dormitory. They're both back. Door unlocked. Knocked. Pushed it open. And Mei Li followed her in and saw a face from her memories, and a face she'd seen yesterday. Yesterday. In a purple mink coat, standing over her. We both went to the job fair this morning. It's too hard to find a suitable job. Hu Jiayi slumped in her chair, head drooping. That's because your standards are too high. Actually, there are still lots of jobs. If we keep looking, we'll definitely find something suitable. Fang Min, in her usual, gentle, comforting, encouraging tone. Mei Li's expression stayed calm. Her hands were clenched so tight her nails nearly went into the flesh. Calm down. Calm down. We're thinking long term. And here's the woman. 165 centimeters, curvy, big double-lidded eyes, slightly curled lashes, perky nose, slightly upturned lips, fair skin, neat bangs, long, straight black hair, plus the soft voice. She truly has the capital to be a goddess. No wonder she's the white moonlight in so many boys' hearts. And she's an orphan from the same system Mei Li is. Hold on to that. It's the entire engine of this person. That's you! Your major's good and you're pretty, so of course you get invitations. I'm different. And also, you're all high city locals. You can live fine on a decent job. I'm from out of town. I have to think about rent. If the salary's too low, it's not enough to live on. Why did I even pick marketing? Angrily slapped a book onto her own head. Hu Jiayi, a girl from the northeast, 170 centimeters, 130 caddies, slightly plump, also quite pretty, though her slightly darker skin somewhat diminished it by the standards of a world that keeps count. Mei Li, Wenyuan, have you two gone looking for jobs? Still that delicate appearance. And Mei Li has to admit, if she were a boy, she'd probably like a girl like Fang Min. However, in her previous life, Fang Min caused her such pain that she can neither forget nor forgive. Option. No rush. Let's talk about it after graduation. Having lived through one life, she naturally knows what choice is most beneficial. And she didn't say it. Me too. If something suitable shows up, I'll send my resume. We still have a few months. The next time there's a fair, I'll call you both and we'll go together. That way we can share information. Smiled softly, and her heart bloomed with joy. Because it seems that in the future, she, Fang Min, will still be the most formidable. Among the few people in this dormitory, her job will be the best. Her future achievements, the highest. So what if she came from an orphanage? Fang Min is still the most outstanding. And Hu Jiayi doesn't know it yet, but she passed the second interview at Yu's group today. One more, and she's in. And everyone knows Yu's group benefits are good, always a target for graduates. Keep an eye on that. It's a fuse, and it's already lit. Mei Li knew Fang Min was in a good mood today, just from the perpetually upturned lips. Seems she had some gains. Lay in bed, wondering how she'd answered this exact conversation the first time. And here's what she did the first time. She honestly told everyone that after graduation she could work at Yu's group, that it was already arranged, set in stone. And Hu Jiayi and Yang Qingyue were extremely envious and congratulated her and promised to keep it secret. And what did Fang Min say back then? She thought about it. It was probably something like, Yu's group is a huge corporation. Mei Li is so lucky to be able to work there. It's something others can only dream of. By the way, hasn't Yu's group not started recruiting yet? Did Mei Li pull some strings? And at the time, she admitted it without much thought. She had connections in that regard. What happened later? She answered a friendly question at a sleepover, and that's the sentence that eventually put her under a snowdrift. Still recalling when Fang Min spoke again. We only have another 3 or 4 months together. I really don't want to leave you all. Mei Li and I are both high city, so we can meet up later. But if Wenyuan and Jiayi go back to their hometowns, it'll be hard to ever see each other. That's right, but I still want to stay in high city. It's much more developed than home. Hearing that, Hu Jiayi got sentimental and became even more determined to stay. Me too. My home isn't far, a 2-hour drive, but my family hopes I can stay. Nodded. However, if I really can't find a good job, I'll go back. Everything's up to fate. And then Fang Min looked up at Zhou Mei Li. Mei Li, do you think we should all get together while we're still here and everyone has time? Sure, no objections. You make the arrangements. Smiled, nodded. Only the two of us here are high city, and you all know I came from an orphanage, so I don't have a place to host everyone. Mei Li, we've been together 4 years, and we've never been to your house. How about a dinner party at your place tomorrow night? Looking at her, with anticipation. There it is. That's the move. That's the exact sentence that started everything. And here's what she did, the first time. Nodded in delight, agreed, invited the 3 girls from the dorm plus a few close friends, among whom was Li Kai. Ah, Jin, you've given me a big problem. I really want to invite everyone over, but my brother is a germaphobe and never lets me bring outsiders home. I'm so sad. She's always found it hard to refuse people, still does after rebirth. But Fang Min coming to her house? No way. Even if she has to fabricate a germaphobe brother out of thin air, she can't say no to a person. So she invented a fictional man to say no for her. That's her whole personality in one move, and it's honestly a little bit iconic. And here's why the house matters. In her previous life, after that gathering, Fang Min set her sights on her home. And not just her home. Also Heng Zhi. However, because Yu Heng Zhi was always abroad and hadn't come back, Fang Min gave up on him and turned to Li Kai instead. And Li Kai? Li Kai confessed to Mei Li on the evening of the second day after that dinner party. And based on the goodwill he'd accumulated, she agreed. So, if there's no dinner party at her house this life, does Li Kai still confess? Jean, if we can't do my house, can't we go somewhere else? Let's find a restaurant and have a good meal. She'd seen the expectant eyes go dim and suggested it. How about you pick the place and I'll treat? Ha! How could we? Let's go Dutch! Yang Qingyue regretted not getting to see the house. She was still excited about eating something delicious. Fine, I said I'd treat, so I'll treat. Tomorrow night, the newly opened Chunlai restaurant. And call up all our close friends. And she started calling the few people she knew well. The exact same ones who came to her house the first time. Because she wants to see what changes when you move the room. And at that moment, Fang Min's eyes flickered. How many people is Mei Li planning to invite? Let's get Deng Yuxuan and Fang Tingting, and Xu Mingbo, Liu Ji, and Zhao Menghan. deliberately leaving out Li Kai. Link Li Kai? I remember your relationship with him seemed pretty good. Under 2 seconds, she noticed one name missing off a guest list of 6 and could not physically let it go. Oh, I forgot about him! Call him! The more people, the livelier! Slapped her own head, feigning forgetfulness. Thanks for the reminder, Ajin. If Li Kai found out, he might complain about us. As long as you don't blame me for being nosy, I happen to have Li Kai's number. I'll help you notify him. And she didn't wait for consent before picking up the phone and dialing. And hid on the balcony, voice too low to hear from inside. Mei Li watched her through the glass. Saw her smile, full of happiness and shyness. And a bitter smile rose. So your relationship was already this good, this early? Then why didn't you two get together? Why did Li Kai confess to me? That's the question of the whole first life right there. And she's finally standing at the right angle to see it. Composed herself, kept making her calls, finished all of them. And Fang Min still hadn't hung up. When she came back in, Hu Jiayi teased her. Are you and Li Kai together? You talked for so long and you're still flushed. What are you talking about? I just had some business to discuss, so it ran long. Smiled, climbed onto her bed. If you say no, then no. Speaking of which, Li Kai is quite the campus heartthrob. Handsome, does well in his studies, and I heard a company's already hired him. His future is bright. I wonder which little vixen gets this gem. Clicked her tongue twice, drooling a little at the thought. You're talking about Chen Jin, but look at you. Your drool is almost dripping. Laughing, patting her head. Can't I appreciate beauty? If Li Kai were willing, I'd offer myself up for free. It's not like I'd lose anything. Then burst into laughter, unable to lift her head, face buried in her arms, tears almost coming out. Mei Li knew she was joking, smiled, shook her head, didn't speak, and didn't miss Fang Min's face. First, the shy happiness and self-satisfaction at being teased. Then, the eye roll and the disdain the second Hu Jiayi self-deprecated. Underneath the gentle facade, thorns, a fact she unfortunately did not discover in her previous life. Not one word out loud. She's reading the room like a security tape. And 10,000 kilometers away, Wennerman City, Europe, St. Mona Hospital. Yu Heng Zhi on a hospital bed, consciousness hazy. Wasn't I in a snowy night? Why do I feel so warm? Open your eyes and see. Trying hard, thoughts gradually clearing, and a familiar voice and a strange voice in his ears. Oh, we're doing both of them. Mr. Yu's examination is complete. Results won't be in until 4 p.m. Then when will Mr. Yu wake up? Hard to say. Preliminary diagnosis is extreme fatigue. He should wake with enough rest. Specifics once the tests are back. All right, thank you. He closed his eyes, pondering. Because he clearly remembers holding Zhou Mei Li just moments ago. He was clearly in that snowy night. Saw the doctor out, thought for a moment, picked up his phone, made an international call, turned to look at Yu Heng Zhi. Yes, still unconscious, so he could speak freely. Hello, Miss Gu. Mr. Yu fainted today and was admitted to hospital. Yes, don't worry. I'll look after Mr. Yu. No, Mr. Yu hasn't contacted Mei Li recently. Yes, I also hope you can be with Mr. Yu. You two are a match made in heaven. Not at all, rest assured. I will persuade Mr. Yu to return to the country at an appropriate time. Hung up, muttered. I don't know why Mr. Yu took a liking to that girl Mei Li. Miss Gu is so much better. Talented, beautiful, powerful. I wonder if Mr. Yu is blind. But today really isn't bad. A single phone call brought in 10,000 yuan. Glanced at him again, turned, left the ward. He was a bit hungry, decided to go buy some food. 10,000 yuan, that's the price. That's what 4 years of a man's life went for, retail. And he's going to go get a sandwich now. A few minutes after he left, Yu Heng Zhi opened his eyes. Sharp, filled with coldness. So that's how it was. It wasn't that Mei Li was unwilling to acknowledge him. It wasn't that she didn't want to contact him. Lin Bo had been intercepting the messages the whole time. In his previous life, he woke up late and never heard this call. Is God allowing me to seek the truth in this life? Lin Bo. And originally, remembering how Lin Bo stayed by his side the whole first life and died after drifting in a foreign land for 2 or 3 years, he decided to take good care of him this time. But it seems that's no longer necessary. Fine. For the sake of all those years of following him, as long as he never interferes with Zhou Mei Li again, He can fend for himself. Called a friend in Wen Ermion City, made some arrangements. He woke up from being frozen to death, learned his assistant sold his entire life for 10 grand a call, and his response was, fine, he can fend for himself. Then he made one phone call and went back to thinking about his career. And here's the career. In his previous life, after his father died, he inherited 37% of Yu's group. And because 37% isn't controlling interest, even with a substantial holding, he was plagued by internal and external troubles. So for the sake of the Yu in Yu's group, he poured his heart and soul into expanding the territory. And after Mei Li went to university, he frequently lived in Europe for the expansion. He'd originally planned to come home the moment she graduated. And instead, the reports came, monthly, from Lin Bo, subtly and overtly indicating that Zhou Mei Li was unwilling to contact him. Zhou Mei Li had exams. Zhou Mei Li was on holiday. Zhou Mei Li traveled with friends. Zhou Mei Li has many friends. Zhou Mei Li is very close to a boy. 4 years of drip, every one of them true, technically, and every one of them aimed. And then, one time, he secured an important project in Europe. Excited, missing her badly. Eagerly had Lin Bo book the soonest flight. And dragging his suitcase out of the airport, heading straight for her dormitory building, he happened to see Li Kai confessing to Zhou Mei Li, and the two of them embracing. His enthusiasm was doused with cold water, and before she noticed him, he turned around and went back to the airport and flew directly back to Europe. After that, he received news that Zhou Mei Li and Li Kai were very happy. Until the apocalypse, when he couldn't get back from Europe at all. He was standing right there, 30 meters away, holding a suitcase, and he turned around and got on a plane and let 4 years happen, because he saw one hug and believed the man who'd been lying to him monthly for a salary. And now they're both awake, on opposite ends of the planet, both 20-something again, both holding a full memory of how it ends, and neither one of them knows the other one is back. 365 days. Ask me again who books a flight first. But first, let me finish telling you what the apocalypse actually was, because it's not what you think. It was very gentle, unlike novels where lots of people die. Nobody got eaten, nothing exploded. He endured a long time in Europe, and he just couldn't get back. And the longer it went, the stronger the longing. Finally, during a riot, Lin Bo died. And Yu Heng Zhi, alone, thought about Zhou Mei Li every single day. And finally, he couldn't bear it and decided to go see her, come what may. Several life and death encounters, several countries crossed. And he got back only to find her in that state, and his heart ached terribly. Even seeing Zhou Mei Li and Li Kai sweetly together would have been better than seeing Zhou Mei Li's emaciated corpse. Read that again. He'd take 4 years of watching her be happy with the other guy, gladly, instantly. That's the trade he'd make, and he only figured it out with her in his arms in the snow. A tear came off the corner of his eye. In this life, I stay beside her, and I never leave again. Knock, knock, knock. Lin Bo pushed the door open and found Yu Heng Zhi sitting up, watching a video on his phone. A rare sight. President Yu was not working. President Yu was actually entertaining himself. President Yu, you fainted during a meeting today, and we brought you straight here. Results aren't out till 4, so you'll have to wait a bit longer. This is your lunch, vegetable porridge. The doctor said keep it light. Smiled, laid out the meal, took the opportunity to brief him. Everyone's busy at the company. We've got 9 a.m. tomorrow with Hemei Group for the KM project. Most of it's already discussed. Tomorrow, we finalize details. Barring surprises, we sign. He nodded, scooped a spoonful of porridge. Delicious. He hasn't eaten anything this good in a long time. It made him so happy he wanted to cry. Hospital porridge. A man who runs a multinational is having a religious experience over hospital porridge, because the last 3 years of his memory were a famine. Secretary Lin, you've worked hard this period. Please call headquarters and ask them to send someone to take over the KM project. What? President Yu, what did you say? His phone clattered to the floor. He rubbed his ears, doubting he'd heard right. Lin Bo, you didn't mishear. Continued eating his porridge bite by bite, completely unaware of the explosive thing he'd just said. President Yu, you've been running around half a year for KM. You fainted for it. You're in a hospital for it. The light of victory is right there. If you hand it off now, isn't that just giving the credit away? President Yu, aren't you asking for trouble? Fierce, bit anxious, pacing back and forth in front of him. Conservatism, them. There's still time to get someone here for tomorrow's meeting. Any later and there won't be. Said no more. Finished the porridge, bite by bite. He saw the mind was made up, knew he couldn't argue, unwilling, but went to make the call. Contacted headquarters, and as expected, they readily agreed. Of course they did. Free project, fully cooked, just add signature. President Yu, can you tell me why you're giving up? I'm not feeling well. You used to. He wanted to say, President Yu, even sick, you always stuck to your post. You worked harder than anyone. How do you quit over one fainting spell? And Yu Heng Zhi interrupted it before it got out. I pushed too hard before and developed a lot of ailments. My body's probably at its limit. This illness makes me uncomfortable all over. Looked at his complexion. He doesn't look seriously ill. Oh well, KM's gone anyway. Whatever President Yu says, goes. And here's the actual reason he won't go sign. Purely because he doesn't want to see the young miss of Zhou Mei Group, whom he detests. This life, if he doesn't go, they don't meet, right? He'll go home tomorrow and stay beside Mei Li forever after that. He torched a half-year, 9-figure deal to dodge one woman at one meeting. That's not petty. That's a man who's seen the file. Secretary Lin, book my flight back to China, tomorrow. Yes, President Yu. There's an 11:30 a.m. arriving around 4:30 p.m. Only economy is available. Is that all right? Yes, he caught a glimpse of Lin Bo booking 2 tickets, probably including himself. None of that mattered. Lay back, closed his eyes, recalled the previous life. The apocalypse arrived silently. Nobody realized it was coming, and nobody could escape it. And what was most lacking? Food. In the 3 years he lived through it, food production fell lower every year. And the feeling of being hungry every single day was truly terrible. And it wasn't just food. The climate change triggered a chain reaction. Daily necessities, clothing, everything got more and more expensive. Eventually, money couldn't even buy them. All energy supplies strictly controlled, resources allocated per person. And facing that prolonged cold winter, his allocated share simply wasn't enough. In the first 3 years, it wasn't impossible to survive. It would be very difficult. The 3 years, who knew what came next? Because he never found out. He tied in the snow at the 3-year mark. He doesn't want to live that life of daily pessimism and despair again. And her emaciated figure lingered in his mind. He needs to make arrangements when he lands, quietly, storing supplies. Smiled bitterly. God gave me ample time to prepare. I wonder if any of it will be useful. Hello, Mr. Yu. Your test results are in. White coat, knocked, entered, grave expression. Lin Bo's heart skipped. Could there be a problem? Please tell me, what's wrong with me? Calm, straight into the doctor's eyes. We've diagnosed you with chronic cor pulmonale. It's a heart condition caused by chronic damage in the lung tissue, the pulmonary arteries, or the chest wall. The lung structure goes abnormal, resistance in the vessels climbs, pressure in the pulmonary artery rises, and the right side of the heart dilates and thickens, with or without right heart failure. You're currently in the compensatory stage. Main symptoms are coughing, phlegm, wheezing, and reduced exercise tolerance. It isn't fatal. It requires long-term care. You can collect your medication at the pharmacy shortly. All right, thank you. Nodded, accepted it, coughed twice at the doctor, told Lin Bo to go get the medicine. Lin Bo looked incredulous. He thought it was just overwork. He hadn't realized it was serious. And it must be said, Yu Heng Zhi's luck was genuinely good here. He'd recently been having throat trouble, coughing frequently. And the second the doctor finished talking, his throat acted up and he coughed until his face went red and his veins stood out. Which is precisely why Lin Bo had no doubts. Deeply struck, he went to the pharmacy, got the medicine, paid the bill, handled the discharge. A convenient cough at a convenient moment. And the man who's been billing 10 grand a call for lying to him bought it completely. Mr. Yu, I didn't expect it to be so serious. Driving, feeling like he was about to cry. I didn't expect it either. What's the point of working so hard? Better to enjoy life. Perhaps heaven thinks I'm too tired and wants me to get some rest. Smiled, said it lightly. Which is actually just his conclusion from having already lived and died once. But it's the first time Lin Bo has ever heard dispirited words out of him. Thinking, Mr. Yu has been affected too deeply this time. Yu Heng Zhi, meanwhile, was in high spirits. Had Lin Bo drop him at the commercial street, where he bought many things. And when Lin Bo came back to collect him, he noticed two 24-inch suitcases next to him. Lifted one into the trunk, not very heavy, bent for the other. I'll get that one, it's full, a bit heavy. Reached out, lifted it, and together they moved it in. Mr. Yu, what did you buy? I've worked with you for years, and this is the first time I've seen you go shopping. Took a breath, sat down, asked casually. They're all gifts for Mei Li. In the past, I always had you buy the gifts for Mei Li. I've never actually picked one out myself. I hope she likes these ones. Happy smile on his face, looking straight into Lin Bo's eyes. And had you helped me buy gifts for Mei Li? Lin Bo's eyes darted away, and fine beads of sweat appeared on his forehead, and Yu Heng Zhi understood in his heart that the gifts she received were probably not good things. Or perhaps Lin Bo never sent her anything at all. Never mind, never mind. The years of friendship are probably truly over. He didn't accuse him. He set the sentence down like a plate and watched a man sweat over it, and filed the result. Meanwhile, back in High City, Chunlai Restaurant, 2nd floor, private room. 6 women, 4 men, 1 round table. Come, cheers, to youth, to the future, to us! Smiling radiantly, stood up first, raised her beer, and with a few words livened up the whole room. Mei Li raised hers too. Light clink. A sip. Why isn't Mei Li toasting? Could it be she looks down on us? Not at all like she's stirring anything up. Hey, if I look down on you, would I be buying you dinner? I have too much money to burn, haha. It's just I'm famously a one-drink wonder. Everyone forgive me, let's substitute tea for wine. Picked up an empty glass, poured half a cup of tea, downed it. And Fang Min's body stiffened for a moment, and she quickly looked at Li Kai, because she hadn't explicitly mentioned who was paying when she invited him yesterday. She thought Zhou Mei Li wouldn't bring it up, and that Li Kai would just assume she'd invited him. And right now, Li Kai was sitting there with a faint smile and no other emotion. Fang Min quietly relaxed. One sentence. I'm treating. And a whole architecture nearly fell over, and the girl who said it drank tea and said nothing. Our Min is the best among us at livening things up. With Min around, there are no awkward silences. Come, let's toast Min. Drank another half cup of tea. Yes, yes, Fang Min is our goddess. Toast to Fang Min. The boys started egging it on. To Fang Min! And the girls didn't fall behind either. And Fang Min had said those words earlier, and now, flattered by everyone, unknowingly drank several glasses of beer. To youth, to the future, to us! She built that toast, and Mei Li just handed it back to her with the volume turned up. 4 glasses deep, and she still thinks she's winning. Amid the chatter and laughter, they got to the topic everyone actually came for. Li Kai, where'd you sign? I heard it's a big company. Fang Ting Ting, looking at him and his gentle smile. Yes, I signed with Feiyang International. Looked into her eyes, nodded, replied gently. You're amazing. Your future is limitless. Congratulations. Her face immediately went red. She grabbed her water glass and took a sip of beer to hide the embarrassment, her heart pounding non-stop. He's not even doing anything. He looks at a girl and gently answers a question, and she has to drink out of the wrong glass. That's the weapon. That's the whole man. And the rest of you, signed? Gaze sweeping the table, then landing on Fang Min. I'm not confirmed yet. I interviewed at Yu's group and passed the 2nd round. If I pass the 3rd next week, then I can sign. Usual gentle smile, looking at him, replied shyly, cheeks tinged. That's very impressive. Yu's group is hard to get into. They hire very few every year. Making it that far shows our Min is very outstanding. Keep it up! Raised his glass, clinked with hers from across the table. And Mei Li, have you found a place? Turned to her, asked. And she looked at him and her heart filled with emotion. You tell me, a handsome man, a gentle smile when he speaks to you, eyes full of love and fixed only on you. How does a person like that not make your heart flutter? She's not being sarcastic. That's the awful part. She's sitting across from the man who let a pregnant woman beat her to death in a slum, and she's honestly reporting that it still works. No, I haven't decided what I want to do, hee. I'm not like you all with your big ambitions. My life's ideal is to be a freeloader. Oh my goodness, is anyone going to claim me? Raised both hands, looked up at the ceiling, and the entire private room burst out laughing. Oh, what's with Zhou Xiaoli lately? She's so lively. Zhou Xiaoli's about to let loose. Odiak, you'll have to work hard. Being a freeloader isn't easy. pushed her glasses up with her left index finger, smiling, teasing. Yes, those who can freeload are truly blessed. I want to too, but Mei Li needs to plan early. You only have 3 months to find a sugar daddy. Also joking, with a smile. Great fortune. Find a sugar daddy? 364 days. Ask me again what Mei Li just decided at that table. She smiled at that. It sounded a bit harsh. Because it seems that in the previous life, Fang Min ended up being the freeloader, and Li Kai was the sugar daddy. And Zhou Mei Li struggled to survive by working diligently. And here's the thing she needs you to understand. She doesn't envy the Fang Min of her previous life. She only hates why Fang Min always bullied her. And she resents why Li Kai kept bothering her when they had no connection left at all. The dinner ended. 10 people went back to school, scattering in 2s and 3s to their dorms. Next day, slept in again, up at 9, washed. Went shopping, sumptuous lunch with the roommates. Afternoon, Yang Qingyue to the library for the thesis. Fang Min on a date, apparently a movie with a handsome guy from another university. Hu Jiayi to a small job fair in the suburbs. Everything exactly as it was in her previous life, with only Zhou Mei Li left in the dorm. Fang Min is at the movies with someone else, on the day Li Kai confessed to Mei Li. Hold that. It's load-bearing. Opened her laptop, put on a classic film, 9.0 rating, and it couldn't hold her attention at all. Because she couldn't stop unconsciously glancing at the phone next to the screen. Movie ended, glanced at the corner, 5:30, turned off the computer, started washing up. She's waiting for Li Kai's call, waiting for an ending, or maybe a possible truth. 5:45. The phone rang. Picked it up. Indeed, Li Kai. And she couldn't quite describe how she felt. Mei Li, are you in the dorm? I'm downstairs. Could you come down a moment? Wait a bit. I'll be right down. Deep breath. Calmed it. Jacket, shoes, keys, door, downstairs. Her steps were slow, because she's a little afraid of seeing a scene identical to the last one. She doesn't want to be entangled with those two again. Reborn into this life, all she wants is to live peacefully and safely. And there he was. Just like last time, bathed in the setting sun, the golden light making him exude a gentle aura, attracting passers-by. And just like last time, a bouquet of red roses. And at his feet, a gift bag. And she knows what's in it. A white chiffon dress, very beautiful, ethereal. Some things can't be avoided. What needs resolving still has to be resolved. Deep breath, stepped up. Li Kai, do you need something from me? I just called Fang Min. I wanted to surprise her with a confession, but I didn't expect her to be out. But I can't keep fresh flowers overnight, so I was hoping you could help me give them to her. Scratched his head, a little embarrassed. Flowers in one hand, lifting the gift bag with the other, offering both to her. Same street, same sunset, same roses, same dress, different name on the card. Stunned for a moment, then a sigh of relief. The exact same scene, and a completely different confession. It doesn't seem appropriate for me to take those up. How can a confession gift pass through another girl's hands? Did Fang Min say when she'd be back? Even if it's late, better if you give it to her yourself. Didn't take them, waved her hands. Can't help with this one. And here's why she really won't touch them. This looks far too much like a confession scene, and if she takes the items, it'll be hard to explain. Who knows what rumors spread tomorrow? And Fang Min would definitely cause trouble afterward. She's not being principled. She's being a woman who has already seen how this ends. Mei Li, Fang Min said she might not be back tonight. I've already talked to her about it. She agreed to ask you for help. He knows Mei Li is the only one in that dorm today, so she's the only one he can persuade. And she was still standing there feeling awkward when she heard a heavenly voice. Mei Li. The voice of someone she hadn't seen in many years. The voice she heard on her deathbed in her previous life. The voice that pulled her out of it. Followed the sound. A familiar figure 100 meters off, pulling a black suitcase with each hand. Standing against the light, so his face wasn't clear, but you could tell 185 centimeters. A long black wool coat, making the figure look straight and slender. Harmisiones. Black trousers. Black leather shoes. Just like the person in her memory, always in black. Step by step forward, and her eyes went on their own, tears falling one by one. And she couldn't hold it back and ran at him. and he opened his arms the moment she moved and pulled her in tight. She was warm, she was soft, and at that moment, Yu Heng Zhi felt that fate had been kind to him. Heng Ji Guga, Heng Ji Guga, I've missed you so much, crying with snot and tears, all of it sticking to his coat. And he didn't mind at all. Reached over, wiped her eyes, comforted her gently. Look at this. After a few years, why hasn't our little princess grown up yet? 2 seconds in and you're already a mess. Hurry and wipe it. Raised his arm and wiped her tears and snot away with his own sleeve. 6 hours ago, this man was in a hospital bed in Europe. He got on an economy flight, landed, did not go home, did not drop his bags, and walked straight to a dorm building. And the first thing he does is use his coat as a tissue. Heng Ji Ge, don't use your clothes, you'll get them dirty. Stunned for a second. Reacted fast, grabbed his arm. It's already dirty, might as well make the best use of it. Didn't care at all, pointed at the mess on his chest. Only then did she notice the masterpiece she'd made. Face instantly flushed, didn't dare look at him. Recipes Heng Ji Ge, I wasn't paying attention, I'll wash it when we get back. Patted her head, luffed, said it, come on, let's go home and wash Big Brother's clothes. And she was a little stunned by that. Why does Heng Ji Ge actually want me to wash his clothes? Didn't Heng Ji Ge never let anyone touch his clothes? Let's go, little dummy. He saw her spacing out and could probably guess the thought. He'd originally wanted to go take her hand, but he's got 2 suitcases, so he could only call out to bring her back to reality. And now for the part where the man is an idiot. He regretted buying quite so many gifts, and regretted even more not having Lin Bo send the suitcases to the apartment first. Because here was the plan. He needed to look disheveled in order to successfully snatch her from the confession scene. After all, with more than 10 years of affection, she'd surely settle him first. He felt things had gone exactly as expected. Hadn't he just wrecked her confession scene? His Mei Li didn't take those flowers from Li Kai, and his Mei Li is still single, secretly gloating. Completely unaware that in this life, Li Kai had no intention of confessing to Zhou Mei Li at all. He flew across a planet, in economy, dragging 2 suitcases of presents to sabotage a proposal that was never going to happen. To a girl who was already saying no. And he's currently taking a victory lap in his own head. Look at him, he's so pleased. Qingyu Community, Area B, Building 6, 16th floor, Unit 1602. Finger on the lock, cylinder turned, door opened. He looked at everything in front of him, both familiar and unfamiliar, filled with emotion. After 7 or 8 years, he's finally back. 1602, say that number back to me, because 4 years from now, Fang Min is going to be sitting in 1601, 1 door across the hall, planning a woman's death. They're neighbors. Nobody in this building knows anything yet. Carried the suitcases in, saw the tidy living room, the dining table and coffee table almost free of dust, and instantly understood, and turned to look at her, still standing in the doorway. Mei Li, thank you for taking care of this place these past few years. You've worked hard. Not really. I'm a bit lazy. I only come once a month, a little embarrassed, because when he went abroad, she volunteered to look after the house. However, every time she cleaned it, her back was sore and her legs ached, so it eventually went from once a week to once a month. She'd considered hiring a maid, but he doesn't like outsiders in his home. So she deliberated a while and gave up. The germaphobe brother. She didn't invent him. She just moved him 1 apartment over. Once a month would be great. I thought the dust would be thick enough to grow flowers by now. When our 2 families bought these places, we both wanted bigger ones, for more space, completely forgetting how hard they'd be to clean. Smiled, pulled her inside. There were so many people in the family back then. No one expected, why am I even bringing this up? She looked at the furnishings around her. She cleaned this room at the end of February in her previous life. A whole lifetime ago. Okay, Heng Ji Ge, I'll change your sheets and duvet first. You rest a bit. Headed for his bedroom. Mei Li, I'm hungry. Stopping her. Then let's eat out. There's nothing at home. It's been so many years since I've eaten at home. Looking at her expectantly, eyes full of anticipation. Then I'll go buy groceries. You rest first. Smiled. What's the big deal? I'll go with you. Quickly cleaned the stains off his chest and cuffs with a wet towel. Followed her out. She walked into the elevator and pressed 1. Not going to the garage? Frowned, a hint of confusion. It's only a 20-minute walk to the wet market. No need to drive. explained with a smile, thinking, Heng Ji Ge has probably never been there, because in her heart, Heng Ji Ge is like an immortal, untouched by worldly affairs. You've been there before? Casually. Yes, I used to go often. The vegetables are cheaper, and she paused. Because that used to was the previous life. After the apocalypse, she went there constantly. And in this life, Zhou Mei Li should never have set foot in a place like that. She looked up at him, and only relaxed when she saw he looked normal. And the moment she said wet market, an incredible thought popped into his head. He subtly watched her. And the moment she relaxed, he understood. And a pang of heartache welled up. Both of them are hiding the same secret, from each other, with increasing panic. And they have both now figured it out, and neither one is going to say it. He pressed one. Let's go to Times Square today. I just got back to the country. I need to buy quite a few things. Okay, nodded with a smile. Drove the Audi that hadn't moved in years. That car was also maintained by her. Parked for years with hardly any dust on it. Half an hour, parked, elevator straight up into the supermarket. One cart each, and the frantic shopping began. A bag of rice, a bag of flour, a barrel of oil, 5 caddies of millet, 2 caddies of mung beans, 2 of soybeans, 2 of peanuts, a bottle of vinegar, a bottle of soy sauce, 2 bags of salt, 5 caddies of potatoes. Oilseed rape, crown daisy, bok choy, a caddy of shiitake, a caddy of dried wood ear, a caddy of dried tremella, 2 caddies of pork belly, a strip of tenderloin, a bag of frozen chicken legs, 2 caddies of live shrimp, a bag of taro powder. Laundry detergent, dish soap, dishcloths, shampoo, shower gel, toothpaste. 2 full carts. Told her to wait there, got a staff member to walk it to the parking lot, filled the trunk. Look at that list again. Salt, oil, dried mushrooms, beans, flour. That's not dinner. That's a man who has been hungry for 3 years running a checklist and telling himself it's groceries. Then the snacks. Chocolate, fruit candy, potato chips, shrimp crackers, coffee, walnuts, almonds, pine nuts, apples, pineapples. Another whole cart. Then the bakery, a 6-inch fruitcake, a durian pizza, and a box of egg tarts. Checked out. She carried the 3 boxes. He carried 2 full bags. Loaded the back seats. And here's the coffee. She cried at the smell of instant this morning. And this man just bought coffee, chocolate, candy, chips, pine nuts, and a cake in one lap without saying a word about why. Because he saw the wet market thing, and he can't ask. So he's just going to keep buying until she stops looking hungry. Heng Ji Ge, are we going home now? Checked her phone, 7:50 already. Are you hungry? Only then did he realize how late it was. Shook her head. I ate a lot of snacks in the dorm this afternoon. Not hungry yet. Then would you mind coming with me to buy some clothes? Didn't think much of it, nodded, followed him upstairs. Oh my God, strike me down with lightning. Standing at the entrance of a certain shop, unable to move. He noticed the girl behind him hadn't followed, turned, took her hand, walked in. Usually it's the men who are embarrassed to come in. Why are you, a girl, so shy? Looking at her flushed little face, finding her incredibly cute. Then how are you not embarrassed? Hot all over, utterly mortified. Sigh, I'm embarrassed too, but there's no one to buy for me, so I have to come myself. I'm risking my old face here. He'd just finished saying it when she heard low, good-natured laughter from all around, which made her want to find a crack in the ground and get into it. Lily, remember, from now on, you'll buy me this size. Looked at her lowered head, raised her little face with his right hand, shook a box in front of her eyes with his left, glared fiercely at him, and with her left hand gave his waist a hard pinch, which made the laughter grow even louder. Ambiguous glances all around. A joke, don't be angry. Held the small hand on his waist, smiled, turned to the sales assistant. Excuse me, could you get us the right sizes for this set of pajamas? 363 days until the sky changes, and he's in a department store getting pinched, on purpose, because a man who has held her corpse in the snow has decided that the correct use of the time he was given is to make her turn red in public. Ask me again what he does with the rest of the year. Isn't that inappropriate? Miss, don't you like the panda set? We also have rabbit, dinosaur, and giraffe. If you don't like animals, how about this heart pattern? Do you like it? Pulling unopened boxes out of the cabinet. Just the heart pattern. Do you have our sizes? He preferred the gray heart set after comparing them. Yes, I'll go find them. Smiled. Busily went to search. No, gee, these are couple pajamas. Tugging his sleeve. The assistant quickly checked his expression. He nodded, signaling, continue. Sister, you've misunderstood. I'm his younger sister. Oh, sister. Siblings can wear them too. It's a family set, right? Found 2 sets. Opened the packaging. Let them check for defects. And Mei Li wilted at the tone. It was very clear she didn't believe her. He found it a bit amusing, and when he handed it over to check out, he added, She's my fiancé. We're childhood sweethearts. She's always called me G. The assistant smiled, indicating she understood. See, young couples come in for underwear all the time, and they could tell the intense affection in the young man's eyes. She said, He's my brother, and he corrected the record to fiancé in front of a stranger in a lingerie shop. And she just picked up the bag and walked out, because if she engages with it, she has to think about it. Do we need anything else? Month, I want to go to the 3rd floor. And before he could finish, she pulled him into a nearby menswear store, grabbed a decent-looking dark blue hooded trench coat, and pushed him into the fitting room. What's wrong? It's fine. I just think you'll look great in this. Smiling, blocking the fitting room door, holding the coat up. If you don't like it, and before the last 3 words got out, he took it, tossed his own jacket onto her head, and put the new one on. How is it? Does it look good? He didn't come out, and he didn't look in the mirror, because she's the mirror. It looks good. Smiled, a hint of admiration flashing. He's a natural clothes hanger, handsome face and good figure. His usual attire makes him look calm and mature, but today's jacket gives him a youthful vigor. All right then, this one. Took it off to pay. While she walked to the shop entrance looking left and right. Mats, go, we're going home. Not buying more? Next time. Pulled her to the elevator. And once they were in the car, he didn't start it. Mei Li, what happened just now? She looked at his worried eyes, pursed her lips, unsure how to begin. You can try trusting me. No matter what you say, I'll believe it. No matter what you do, I'll help you. Serious expression, firm eyes. Understand what he's actually saying there. He's not asking about the store. He's telling a girl who came back from the dead that whatever the sentence is, he'll take it. And he's saying it before he knows. Smiled faintly, sighed. I just saw one of my roommates. I didn't want her to see you. I'm afraid she'll set her sights on you. He knew immediately who she meant. Silent for a moment. Don't worry, I won't leave you. It doesn't matter who sets their sights on me. She laughed, shook her head. Heng Ji Ge, you shouldn't speak too soon. When you get married and have children in the future. And her mood dropped and she didn't finish it. By that time, I'll be alone again. He sensed the change and fell silent. Because at this moment, he can't tell her he won't marry, nor is he ready to tell her he wants to marry her. Patted her head, promised. I won't leave you. Car started, home. Silence the whole way to the underground parking, and before getting out, if there's someone you don't like, try to stay away from them first. When the time is right, then deal with them. I know, nodded with a smile. And in her heart, even if I do nothing, they won't have it easy in a year, and so much can happen in a year. He told her to be patient, and she's sitting there doing countdown math. These two are the same animal, and they don't know it yet. 3 or 4 trips to get everything into 16:02. Collapse on the sofa, aches in their backs, arms, and legs. Looked up, 9:15 already. Jacket off, straight to making dinner. And here's why. If she were alone, she'd have just made instant noodles. But now there are 2 of them, and he's been flying and shopping all day, and she truly couldn't bear to let him suffer. Heng Zhi Ge, go shower first. I'll start cooking. And now watch this man. He didn't say much, got up, took the new underwear and couple pajamas, threw them in the washing machine on the small balcony, set it to rinse. Then started organizing everything they bought, fridge things into the fridge, cabinet things into the cabinet. Once that was done, went to the bathroom, washed a rag, and wiped down the dining table, the coffee table, and the windowsills. Heard the machine beep, went back, selected dry. Then the bedroom, stripped the sheets, duvet cover, and pillowcases, carried them to the balcony. And not only his own room, he stripped the guest room too. Both rooms got clean 3-piece sets that had been packed under the bed. Took the dried pajamas and underwear to the laundry room, hung them. took her pajamas to the guest room, then got a new toothbrush and bath towel and went to shower. She said, "Go rest." He did 4 loads of laundry, remade 2 beds, wiped 3 surfaces, unpacked a supermarket, and set out her pajamas in the guest room in 20 minutes. The man who doesn't let anyone touch his clothes. 20 minutes later, out of the bathroom in the gray pajamas. Tall, straight, towel in his right hand, wiping his messy, slightly damp hair. Under 2 sword-like eyebrows, 2 eyes black as ink, sparkling like stars, bright and clear. Well-defined nose, lips gently pressed, corners of his mouth curving slightly, and a large pink heart on his chest, which added a touch of cuteness to the clear and handsome face. Cold-eyed corporate emperor, giant pink heart, leaning in a doorway, devastating. Leaned against the kitchen door, watching the girl busy inside. 168 centimeters, white chiffon long sleeve, tight jeans, and her weight under 100 jin made him frown. A bit too thin. Fortunately, her hair is black and smooth, loosely tied into a bun, side fringe clipped back with a pearl hairpin, revealing a fair, full forehead. Willow leaf eyebrows, almond eyes, double eyelids, thick curled lashes that flutter like feathers and stir his heart. Cheeks flushed, tiny beads of sweat glistening on the tip of her nose. Such a wonderful Zhou Mei Li, 90 jin. And in the life he remembers, this is the fattest she will ever be again. That's why he frowned. Not aesthetics. A baseline. "Are you done tidying up?" Felt the gaze, turned. Dinner's almost ready. Take these 2 out for me." "Okay." Carried the garlic broccoli and the stir-fried oilseed rape to the table. Saw she'd need a few more minutes, so he went back to the balcony and threw the stripped sheets and duvet covers into the machine and set it to rinse. He is doing chores in the gaps between carrying plates, multi-threaded. Came back. She turned off the stove and brought out the last dish, braised prawns. He went and scooped 2 bowls of rice, brought them out. Sat facing each other, 1 bowl each. It smells so good. Let me try. It feels like home." Eagerly picked up a large shrimp, extremely high praise. "Of course! I learned this from Wang Auntie. Does it taste similar?" Wang Auntie, his mother, who passed away several years ago. "I prefer yours." And he doesn't love the taste of the food. He loves Zhou Mei Li, and he loves the warm interaction with Zhou Mei Li. "Hurry and eat. It's 10 o'clock already. Dinner's a bit late today." It's a special circumstance. He doesn't care about the time at all. As long as he can be with her, not eating is fine. Only beside her does he feel at ease. 10 minutes. Almost finished. She got up to clear. Her phone rang. He told her to answer it while he took the dishes to the kitchen and washed them. "Mei Li, why aren't you in the dorm? Did you put away what Li Kai gave me?" "No, I went home. Why don't you call Li Kai and ask him?" "Really? You're not coming back tonight?" She doesn't want anything to do with those 2, so she vaguely brushed it off and let them sort it out themselves. "Did you put away what Li Kai gave me?" She wasn't home. She was on a date with a different guy, and her first call is to confirm the tribute got collected. Hung up, actively wiped the table down, finished tidying. He came out of the kitchen. "Are you all right?" "Fang Min was just asking me for something. I told her to go find Li Kai." And at Li Kai, his heart skipped. Expression stayed calm. "What do you mean by that?" "Li Kai was going to confess to Fang Min today, but Fang Min went on a date with someone else. Then he asked me to pass the flowers and the gift to her. I didn't agree, and then you called me home." Finished, smiled. "You came back at exactly the right time, otherwise I wouldn't have known how to refuse him." And only then did Yu Heng Zhi realize. The confession scene was somebody else's confession scene. But then another problem arose. Even if Zhou Mei Li was reborn, the confession scene didn't change. So why did Li Kai suddenly not confess to her? But this is also good. It saves him the trouble of finding a way to get rid of that annoying Li Kai. Look at that. He clocked the anomaly, then immediately dropped it because he was too happy. That question is going to matter enormously, and he just filed it under nice. Heng Ji Ge. It's getting late. I'm going home now. Glanced at the wall clock. 10:30. Stood to say goodbye. Go where? Isn't this your home? He found that amusing. This is your home. My home is next door. It's the distance of one wall. I'll have someone tear it down tomorrow. Then we'll talk about it after you tear it down, replied with a smile, changed out of the slippers, opened the door, closed it. He got up, took the sheets and covers out of the machine, tidied them, hung them on the rack on the balcony, then sat on the sofa, looking at a living room that had returned to silence, and the loneliness came back and hit him again. This feeling is truly annoying. 12 hours ago, he was in a hospital bed in another hemisphere, thinking his last thought had been in a snowdrift. Now he's clean, fed, in matching pajamas, and there's laundry drying on the balcony. And she walked 10 meters down a hallway, and the apartment went quiet, and he can't stand it. 363 days. Ask me again how long that wall lasts. About 90 seconds. A bitter smile. He stood up, opened the door. Today, even if it cost him face, he has to keep her beside him. And she was still standing at the door of 1601. Heard the door next to her open, turned her head. Why did you come out? Why didn't you go in? Both at once. He saw the forced smile on her face and felt a pang. I'm not used to sleeping alone. Will you stay with me? And without waiting for a refusal, took her hand, brought her in, and pushed her into the guest room. Go change into your pajamas. I washed them. Nodded, closed the door. And here's why she was standing out there. She thought she was prepared. And it wasn't until she was actually at the door of 1601 that she realized how much she resisted going into the place where those two lived. Even though in this life, 1601 has nothing to do with either of them. A bit dejected. It turns out I'm not that strong after all. She stood outside a door for 10 minutes because of something that hasn't happened. And he came out and took her hand and never asked what it was. Pulled the curtains, changed into the gray heart pajamas, opened the door, walked out, and he was on the sofa watching the evening news. Not paying attention to a word of it, mind wandering. What happened in the previous life to do that much psychological damage to her? Only when the sofa sank beside him did he come back. It looks good. You can tell at a glance we're family. Smiled, shook her head. Aren't you tired? Why are you still watching TV? I watch the news every day. You can learn a lot. Turn to the screen. Pearching Europe International. At 3 p.m. local time on March 7th, Mount Sporang on Lysangia Gen Island erupted again. Flowing lava caused mountain fires. Firefighters have moved into the safe zones around the volcano. This is Sporang's second eruption after 3,000 years dormant. Last June it erupted once, killing 42 mountaineers. She looked at that and felt terrified. In her previous life she saw news like this too, and at the time, it felt far away from her. And it took a whole lifetime for her to realize the world had been warning people the entire time, and nobody noticed. 3,000 years of silence, 2 eruptions in 9 months, and it's item 4 on the evening news, after sports. Heng Zhi. I've been reading a lot of news like this lately. It feels like there's been an unusually high number of natural disasters these past 2 years. I always have a bad feeling about it. Tone relatively calm, eyes revealing a hint of panic. It's okay. If the sky falls, Heng Zhi will hold it up for you. Patted her shoulder. And they both know that sentence is too pale. Because when that day actually comes, nobody escapes. Both of them know it. Neither of them says it. Late at night, he went to the master bedroom. She went to the guest room. They're still separated by exactly 1 wall. She was tired. She fell asleep fast. Meanwhile, in the dorm, Fang Min has insomnia. She's agonizing over whether to accept Li Kai's confession. Actually, she has a good impression of him. He's considered very outstanding among his peers. However, she's long since learned from his classmates that his family background is very ordinary. No burdens, but also no assistance whatsoever. She wants someone with a good family background. Like the one she dated today. Family owns a company, 2 properties in his own name. But after testing the waters, she knows he won't marry her. And he's not the first. The better the conditions, the less likely they were to marry. Dating? Fine. Gifts? Fine. Marriage? No. People want to marry someone of equal standing, someone who can help them or their family. And she started school late. She's already 24. And she's afraid that if she waits any longer, she won't even be able to find someone like Li Kai. Forget it. Considering how much I liked the gift he gave me, I'll just agree. At worst, I can switch if someone better shows up. There it is. That's the whole woman, in 1 sentence, alone in the dark, with nobody performing for. She's not evil. She's an orphan who did the math and concluded she is a product with a shelf life, and she's about to spend the next decade proving it, and she will burn down 4 lives doing it. Next morning. Mei Li, get up. Eat breakfast, and then you can go back to sleep. She truly admires this man. It's 7:30 a.m. Brother, aren't you tired? Got up, washed, dining room. On the table, the egg tarts and the pizza from last night, and 2 glasses of milk. They were still warm when we bought them. Picked up a tart, a bit of regret. Yes, we can only eat them cold today. Bear with it, I'll buy you fresh ones tomorrow. He always wants to give her the best, but... Not at all! It's great to have food, and besides, they're all delicious. You don't know. When there's no food, even wild vegetable paste gets fought over. So we all have to cherish our blessings. Swallowed, said it with a serious sigh. He smiled and nodded. Yes, only those who've experienced it truly understand. Which is exactly why breakfast today is these items. Not a single bit of it gets wasted. She just told the man who starved for 3 years about starving for 3 years. And he agreed with her. And they ate the cold pizza, and neither of them said the actual word. Finished. Washed up. 8:15, Saturday. Are you going back to school today? I'll go back. I want to see the excitement, heh, smiled shyly. Nodded, indicating he understood. I'll take you in a bit. Come on, let's go see the gift I brought you first. You brought me a gift? Heh, it's been so long since I got a gift. I haven't gotten one since your 2nd year in Europe, and his face went dark. What's wrong? Concerned. It's nothing. I'll give you more and better gifts in the future. Put the anger away, promised. No need. Gifts aren't important. The thought is what matters. Smiled, roughly guessing what had happened. 7 years of gifts, 10,000 yuan a phone call, and she's sitting there telling him not to worry about it. Opened the suitcase, took things out one at a time. These are 2 sets of skincare. I heard the female executives at the company talking about these 2 brands, and I wasn't sure which was better, so I bought both. These are cosmetics. The sales assistant recommended them when I was buying the skincare. See if they're any good. This is the Ancient Music Series perfume. 12 bottles. I smelled the samples, they were all quite good. Pick your favorites and I'll buy them next time. I also picked out a few dresses. This is red wine. There wasn't enough space, so I only brought 3 bottles. Try it. If you like it, I'll have them mail more from over there. Oh, and there's a handbag. The assistant said it was limited edition. Suitcase empty, and Zhou Mei Li was shocked. Heng Zhi, why is there so much? This is too much. I only need 1 of each. It's not much. There's more. Opened the other suitcase, took out half a case of his own clothes, and the rest were small gift boxes. These are all jewelry. See if you like them. Squatted down, opened the boxes one by one, laid them out on the bed. Oh my goodness. Her heart was about to burst. Necklaces, bracelets, rings, hairpins, some diamond, some gold, some pearl, some jade. Geh, you don't have a fever, do you? Why did you buy this much jewelry? Do you like them? I originally wanted to buy more, but I was afraid you wouldn't like them. Next time I'll take you to choose. Quickly shook her head. No, they're too expensive. Even if you sold me, I couldn't pay you back. 12 bottles of perfume. Pick your favorites. I'll buy them next time. Sir, you are on economy tickets buying a woman a jewelry department because you watched her freeze to death owning 3 bricks, and you cannot tell her that. So you're just going to keep opening boxes. And about that, couldn't pay you back. She could, actually. Comfortably. Here's why. Her childhood was happy. She and Yu Heng Zhi both lived in the Jijing Villa area. Their families were neighbors, always had a good relationship. Later, when he was 20, his father died suddenly of a heart attack on a business trip in Jing City. And Mother Yu, Wang Auntie, couldn't bear the blow and wanted to sell her Yu's group shares. He'd been intelligent since childhood, skipped several grades. At 20, he'd already finished university and planned to do a master's abroad. And because of his father's death, he went into Yu's group instead. To protect his father's hard work. That's where the 37% comes from. That's where Europe comes from. That's where the 4 years come from. Everything that went wrong in his life started with one heart attack in a hotel in another city. Since childhood, he disliked strangers in his home, so for years the Yu family never hired a nanny. At most, an auntie to clean when he wasn't home, and he was very busy and traveled constantly, and worried about his mother alone in the house. So Mother Zhou suggested taking Mother Yu in, and Mother Yu felt it'd be inconvenient to live in someone else's home. So the two families discussed it and bought 2 apartments in the newly developed Qingyu community. Neighbors again. Both families were used to big houses, so they took the 240 square meter layout directly. Mother Yu could eat at the B families during the day, and in the evening, she'd just step out and step back into her own home. And if anything happened, she'd only have to shout. They were only a wall apart. The wall. It's been in this story from the beginning. 2 families built their whole lives around it. 4 years like that. Then he went to Europe for the expansion. And that same year, under his subtle influence, Zhou Mei Li got into Tsinghai University at 16. And Father Zhou and Mother Zhou were overjoyed and decided to take her and Mother Yu abroad. And because Mother Yu hadn't seen her son in months, Father Zhou decided the whole family should just go to Europe. So the 4 of them spent more than half a month traveling. And he only made the first day and the last day. The rest of the time he was incredibly busy, appearing and disappearing like a phantom. There was still work at home, so Father Zhou and Mother Zhou had return tickets booked early. And seeing Mother Yu was reluctant to leave, Father Zhou proactively suggested Zhou Mei Li stay on with her a while longer. Back before the new semester. However, unforeseen circumstances occurred. Despite being the mode of transportation with the lowest accident rate, the plane they were on crashed. She cried herself unconscious when she heard. At 16, the girl lost both her parents. From then on, she'd be an orphan. She'd be all alone. And Mother Yu was incredibly guilty, constantly blaming herself, saying that if she hadn't wanted to see her son, they'd never have come to Europe. And she never would have had the accident. And Mei Li didn't blame her, because nobody could have predicted it. And seeing Mother Yu cry more tears every day than she did herself, Mei Li was very sad. 16. Newly orphaned. And she's the one managing the other woman's guilt. That's not strength. That's the first symptom. That's the same girl who, 8 years later, would invent a fake germaphobe brother rather than say the word no to a person's face. He took leave and brought them both home and handled the funeral arrangements. With her consent, Father Zhao's small company was sold, and the villa in Zijing, and the car. Over 50 million yuan, deposited under Zhou Mei Li's name. She's a small, rich woman. She was a small, rich woman in the last life, too. And she still died weighing nothing, in a slum, eating branches. Because in a year, money stops being the thing that works. 362 days. Ask me again what 50 million buys when the sky changes. But let me finish the history, because it explains both of them. With that money, even doing nothing, she could live comfortably for life. And he stayed with her, watching the little girl who used to follow him around get haggard and thin day by day. And his heart ached terribly. So he told her he'd decided to come home and stay. And she cried and said she couldn't drag him down. She's almost an adult. She can take care of herself. She'll live in a university dorm. With roommates to keep her company, she'll slowly move on. And he hugged her. And in his heart, he made a plan. Give me 4 more years. And after 4 years, I'll come back and be able to stay with her. 4 years. He asked the universe for 4 years. And it took them, and it kept them. After he left, Mother Yu cared for her exactly like Mother Zhou had. But she could never get over the guilt. Her mental state worsened. Her health slowly went. In 1 year, Mother Yu passed away. She said she'd never done anything against her conscience in her whole life. And that the only person she felt she'd wronged was Zhou Mei Li. And she couldn't forgive herself. And she made her son promise over and over to take good care of Zhou Mei Li. And Francie Li cried and said she didn't blame her. She never had. If Mother Yu hadn't wanted to go home early, she might have been gone too. He came back and stayed with his mother for over 10 days before she went. And Mei Li noticed he didn't talk much anymore, staring blankly for entire days. After the funeral, he told her before she went. Contact him if anything happens. No matter what it is, he'll come back. And perhaps he was still inside the grief because he exuded a cold aura. And she was a little scared. Is Heng Zhi blaming me? And that's the whole thing, isn't it? A tangled mess. Nobody was intentional. Nobody had malicious intent. It just happened. 2 families, 4 parents, 1 plane. And 2 kids who each privately concluded the other one probably resents them. and then didn't ask. For 7 years. After that, they lived separate lives. Occasional calls on holidays. He was very busy and often thought about her, wondering how the little girl was doing. But it was strange. Every single time he was about to fly home, new work would come up. 3 years of that, until the KM project signed. And he came home and found her with Li Kai. But it was strange. Buddy, that's not strange. That's a man on 10 grand a call. 3 years of scheduling conflicts with a name on them. However, this life is different. Anyway, all that to say, Zhou Mei Li is a small, rich woman, and she still cannot afford the jewelry this man just dumped on a bed. I couldn't bear to sell you. Take it with confidence. Took out a golden bracelet inlaid with red gems, put it on her left wrist. What's the point of earning money? Isn't it for a better quality of life? Isn't it to buy whatever you want? What if one day you have the money and can't buy anything? Wouldn't your heart turn cold? She looked up in shock. Does he know something? And his expression showed no abnormality, like it was just a casual remark. Oh, he's taunting her. He knows. He knows she knows. He's fishing, and he's doing it with a straight face while putting a bracelet on her. These two are going to be unbearable, and I love them. Heng Zhi Ge, these are too valuable. Can I just have this one? Look, they're all new. It'd be great if you kept them to give to your wife later. Even though she knows that in a year or two, the number in her bank account is just a number, she still can't accept a gift this expensive against her conscience. He smiled. Didn't I say it last night? You're my fiancé. What's wrong with me buying you a gift? You were clearly joking last night. A little angry. How could Heng Zhi Ge say something like that? What if I took it seriously? I never joke. Both hands on her shoulders, firm, straight into her eyes. Stunned, eyes wide, mouth slightly open. Ah yeah, it's like I'm hallucinating. His right hand glided over her neck, his index finger picked up her necklace, and pulled out an ancient, exquisite ring. This was Wang Auntie's. She gave it to me before she passed. She told me to keep it close. I tried it, it only fit my ring finger, so I put it on a necklace and wore it against my body. I bought that platinum chain, and that ring is the symbol of a Yu family wife. You accepted it, so you're my fiancé. Smiled and pulled out a ring from his own collar. Identical pattern. She has been wearing his family's engagement ring around her neck for years, because a dying woman handed it to her and said, keep it close, and nobody ever told her what it was. Wang Auntie didn't say it was a family heirloom for your wife when she gave it to me. About to take it off and hand it back. He quickly reached out and stopped her. I've always known. My mom asked my opinion before she gave it to you. I said I liked you, that I wanted to marry you, that I wanted to take care of you for a lifetime. And it was me who asked her not to tell you. Because you were still young, and I was afraid of scaring you. I thought, you're still young, I'll wait for you to grow up. You're still innocent, I'll wait for you to learn to love. You're still in school, I'll wait for you to graduate. And then that day, I saw you and Li Kai embracing. And there it is. He waited politely for 8 years, and then arrived 30 seconds late to a hug that was a lie, and turned around and went to the airport. She trembled all over. Her heart nearly came out of her throat, because she knows what that sentence means. Looked at him, in disbelief. I know what you understand me to mean. Mei Li, we both have incredible experiences. She lowered her head, tears coming down on their own. He felt it and gently hugged her. My dear, do you know how happy I was when I ruined that confession yesterday? Do you know how heartbroken I was when I guessed you'd been through that disaster? Mei Li, even I, who never lived through the apocalypse, only ever had you in my heart. And now that I have lived those years, I can't accept anyone else at all. Give me a chance. Try to accept me, okay? Stroked her hair, lifted her small face, looked at those slightly red and swollen eyes. Neither of them will say the word reborn out loud. So they're negotiating a marriage in code. And it's working. She looked into eyes that couldn't hide the love in them. Softly. Okay. And he heard it. He heard it clearly. He'd waited for the clouds to part and the moon to shine. Smiled. My treasure. I'm going to love you well. Take care of you. Stay with you. And she smiled too. Because this outcome isn't bad. If it weren't for him, she'd truly be single for life. Having lived that life, she can no longer love anyone without reservation. Except this man. the one she trusted most in both her lives. Mei Li, help me put it on. Took his ring off, handed it to her. She rolled her eyes with a smile and gently placed it on his left ring finger. It's sealed. From now on, I'm yours. Raised his left hand, admiring how he looked with it on. First time in 2 lives, and it felt great. I'll put yours on too. Reached for her necklace clasp, and she quickly caught his hands. Like this for now, I still need to find a truth. He fell silent, because that's another lingering issue from the previous life, and he was a tiny bit unhappy. She felt it, hugged his waist, tiptoed, kissed his cheek. He smiled, hugged her tight. You kissed me, so you have to be responsible for me from now on. Okay. And they just held on quietly until her feet started aching. Then she pushed him off and said she wanted to go back to school and watch the show. I still need to find a truth. She's not saying no, she's saying, not until I know exactly how it happened. She wants the ring on her finger, and she wants the autopsy. And now, the bag. He picked up the handbag he'd given her and walked around the living room. First, a box of chocolates, then 2 apples. Wait, wash and wrap them first, so she can eat them directly whenever she wants. Then a bag of potato chips, and a few bags of coffee, she likes those. And a pack of tissues, she'll need those. Soon the bag was full. Sighed. This bag is too small, it can't hold much. She rolled her eyes, took the chips out, tore a small opening to let the air out, and stuffed it back in. You might as well let me drag a suitcase. If you're willing, no problem. I'll help you pack. Oh, do you want to bring this set of cosmetics? Looking at the half-empty bag. A 5-figure limited edition designer handbag, and he's using it as a lunchbox, and he's disappointed in its capacity. Shook her head. No, just this bag and this bracelet are going to cause who knows how much fuss. Don't you believe me? The second I walk into that dorm today, somebody is going to say I'm being kept. Is it wrong for you to be kept by your own fiancé? Smiled, zipped the bag, helped her put it on her back. Then they'll say I'm two-timing. Rolled her eyes, then smiled too. Let them say what they want. We know our own business. Who's afraid of whom? Same Audi. Under half an hour. Dropped her at Qinghai University. Installer. The waved. He drove off. Back to the dorm. All 3 girls there. And Fang Min had already changed into that white chiffon dress. Min, that dress is so beautiful, so ethereal. Where'd you buy it? Even though she doesn't like Fang Min, she has to admit she looks beautiful in it. And Fang Min saw those eyes fixed on her and assumed she'd been stunned by her beauty. Proud inside, expression staying that calm smile, unaffected by external things or personal feelings. This was a gift. Li Kai gave it to me when he confessed last night. She's watching a woman model a dress she personally described from memory before it existed, and saying, "Where'd you buy it?" Wow, the campus heartthrob confessing to the campus belle. What a famous scene. Quick, tell me, did you all see it? Share, exclaimed exaggeratedly, getting the other 2 to recount it. Fang Min's face flushed, but she didn't stop them, because their tone was full of envy, jealousy, and hatred, which perfectly satisfied her vanity. Mei Li listened, took the bag off her back, set it on the table, hung up her coat. And at that moment, Fang Min noticed the golden bracelet on her left wrist and the limited edition gunai bag on the table, the one she has looked at the counter many, many, many times. And the good mood evaporated instantly. Why? Why does she, excellent in every way, not have these things? Why does Zhou Mei Li, an orphan, have so many good things? The bag is 5 figures, and that bracelet can't possibly be less than 5 figures. And the money couldn't have come from her usual means. Her normal clothes and belongings are only slightly better than average. Not luxury money. So the answer is obvious. Zhou Mei Li must have done something unspeakable. No wonder she didn't come home last night. 2 possibilities existed, and her brain took under 3 seconds to pick. Concealed the jealousy. Looked up. Mei Li, where did you go last night? It's the first time you've never come home. We were all so worried. I literally told you on the phone, and you're still going to file it as didn't come home. You speak so nicely. If you were truly worried, why didn't you say a word last night? I went home. Didn't I tell you on the phone? Not angry. Say whatever you want. What else can you do? Look at me. I forgot after a night's sleep. Laughed, not embarrassed in the slightest. Mei Li. Where do you live? Still not giving up. I don't know why she's so persistent about my family situation. Qingyu Community. And Qingyu Community is famous in High City. High-end, built in recent years, 7 or 8 apartment towers, more than 20 ordinary residential buildings, a small villa area, and an entire mountain of landscaped gardens. And her home is the largest ordinary unit type. There are only 2 of them in the whole community. Fang Min gasped. Damn, even having an apartment there is an amazing feat. Recovered fast. That's a famous high-end community. You're really impressive. It's just my parents' blessing. Mei Li, I remember your parents passed away a long time ago. Do you really still have enough money to squander? Tone implying it's for her own good, like a parent disappointed in a child. And before Mei Li could even react, Yang Qingyue couldn't take it. How can you talk like that? Why bring up old wounds? There it is. Do you still have enough money to squander? She just checked the balance of a dead couple, out loud, to their daughter, in a room with witnesses, and the only person in the room who flinched was the girl with the thesis. 362 days. Ask me again who ends up in that slum. I just saw Mei Li wearing 2 luxury items today, and I was a little worried she might be going down the wrong path. Yang Qingyue was stunned. What does she mean? What do you mean? Explain yourself clearly. Hu Jiayi interjecting. Mei Li's bag is a limited edition Gonai, 5 figures. I'm not sure about the bracelet, but the price shouldn't be low either. That's why I wanted to ask about her family situation. After all, Mei Li is an orphan like me, and there are so many temptations out there. Damn, slandering someone and building your own image in the same breath. She priced the bag to the digit, instantly. From across a room. She's been standing at that counter for years. Mei Li, stunned, not knowing what to say, staring at her, wanting to speak and hesitating. Smiled. Yes, thanks to my parents' blessing, I can still afford it. But you can't spend like that, Mei Li. That's not a good habit. You have no income, and spending like this every day, no matter how much you have, how many months can it last? You weren't so extravagant before. Why suddenly? What a caring older sister. It sounds like I'm so ignorant. Is it luxury and materialism? Or is it sudden wealth? Pick one, sis. Too lazy to keep chatting. My fiancé came back last night. He brought me gifts. Damn, Zhou Mei Li, you actually have a fiancé? You've kept us in the dark. Quickly, tell us who this divine being is. Couldn't help swearing. Exactly. Heaven is unfair. Someone who's a 20-year-old budding flower already has a fiancé, while I, a 23 or 4-year-old big girl, don't have a partner. Company covered her chest, feigning heartache, eyes full of laughter. Otto didn't hide it deliberately. We're childhood sweethearts. He's been abroad. Didn't elaborate. If she didn't have a few more months here and wasn't going to inevitably run into him, she wouldn't have revealed even this much. And Fang Min heard it and thought, could it be a lie she made up in case I asked where the luxury came from? Then thought again, that lie would be too easy to expose, so it should be true. Then, is he studying abroad or working abroad? If studying, the family has capital. If working, he's got savings by now. Sour inside. He seems to be in better condition than Li Kai. Then, comforted herself, Li Kai is handsome and capable. He'll be able to afford those luxury items within a year. And her mood improved a little. Watched Mei Li lying on the bed scrolling her phone. Pouted. She's an orphan too. Whoever wants her probably isn't a big shot. Otherwise, they'd have broken off the engagement long ago. 3 seconds ago, she was calculating his net worth. Now she's comforting herself that an orphan couldn't possibly land anyone good. The man is a 240 square meter apartment across the hall, and she will spend 4 years hunting him and never find out he was 1 door away the whole time. Change of heart. Spoke. Li Kai and I are going on a date. I won't be having lunch with you. Go, go! Cultivate that relationship! Raised an eyebrow, winked ambiguously. Waved, triumphant smile, left. And while Zhou Mei Li started her boring senior year, Yu Heng Zhi was excitedly shopping at Times Square. First, for her. New spring and summer clothes, bought whatever he thought looked good. In a short while, over a dozen shopping bags. Then back to yesterday's lingerie store, where he asked the same assistant to help him pick out a few sets. Packed, sent to the car. He wanted to buy her shoes, but you can't buy shoes without trying them on. decided to wait and come back with her another day. Then some clothes for himself, because his existing clothes are all formal workwear, which looks too old-fashioned. And since he's 8 years older than her, he decided to buy some things that make him look younger. Another dozen bags into the car, walked back satisfied. The Reborn Tycoon's post-apocalypse strategic priority list. 1. Buy girlfriend a department store. 2. Look younger. Certain intersection, red light, countdown, 115 seconds. Just turned, so he has time. Looked around. The street seems slightly different from his memory of the previous life. Is that, through the window of the coffee shop at that intersection, Lin Bo and a beautiful lady sitting across from each other, and it was clear he was being very respectful toward her. Who is that woman? She looks familiar. Decided to go take a look. Green light, stopped outside the coffee shop window. And here's why that works. His car is very low-key. He'd bought it specifically for daily use because he didn't want to constantly attract attention. Lin Bo has never seen this car, and with tinted windows, you can't tell who's inside without walking up to it. The one paranoid habit he had, and it just turned into surveillance. Stared at them for over 10 minutes. Before finally remembering, when he first started working, he attended a party where a girl kept trying to get close to him and insisted on his contact information. And that day he was so annoyed, he left in a hurry. And he recalls her surname was Wei. Wei? Could this be the Miss Gu who's been secretly bribing Lin Bo? A surge of frustration, the kind you can't swallow or spit out. A woman he met once caused him a loss that large. He looked at the somewhat out-of-control woman through the glass, and sitting in his car, harshly spat out one sentence. I hope you have the self-awareness to stay away from me from now on, or I will make you pay it back with interest. Started the car, drove home. She talked to him at one party, and it cost him a wife, 4 years, and a snowdrift. And she never even knew he'd noticed her. And here's the part that makes this man worth the ticket. He thought about it very clearly. Although Miss Gu and Lin Bo conspired to trick him, his failure to be with Mei Li also had his own reasons. Reborn into this life, he can't keep limiting his perspective to the past. The most important thing is to live well in the present and the future. He got on that plane himself. Nobody made him turn around, and he's the only one in this entire story who has said that out loud. Carried dozens of bags home, cut off all the tags, threw the machine washables in to rinse, hand-washed everything else once. An hour later, he looked at the racks on the living room balcony, filled with new clothes. Then turned into the master bedroom, where the balcony was hung with various types of underwear. And Yu Heng Zhi felt incredibly happy inside. Not for the reason you think, or, okay, partially for the reason you think. Didn't go out for lunch, tried cooking from recipes he found online, showed some talent. He managed to cook all the dishes. They weren't particularly delicious. And someone who's experienced hunger doesn't waste even a tiny bit. Even unappetizing, he ate all of it. It was so much better when Mei Li was here. At least there was delicious food. Sighed inwardly. Half-hour nap, opened the computer, searched a map of High City, pondering where it'd be safest to store supplies. Storing now would definitely be safe, but he worries about it being submerged by water or buried by earth later. Or worse, found by people searching for food when they're starving, leaving nothing for himself. And storing too early might spoil things, and acting too late might get him targeted by malicious individuals. Shook his head. It's not simple. If only there were an absolutely safe space. Even a small one. At least it could hold some life-saving supplies for me and Mei Li. He thought about the spaces in novels. Then laughed at himself for overthinking. How could such a thing exist? Still, if only there really was a space. Remember that. Both of them have now said it out loud on the same day in separate rooms. The universe is listening. It's just slow. Printed the map. Circled a few spots in red pen. Planned on-site inspections tomorrow. Finished. 4:30. Drove to the coffee shop at the intersection. And after negotiating with the manager, copied the video of Lin Bo and Miss Gu's conversation. Oh, he bought the tape. Between shopping and dinner, filed under errands. Then changed direction and went to Qinghai University to pick her up. And she truly hadn't expected him. They've been apart less than 12 hours. Won't Yu Heng Zhi get tired of me? Yu Heng Zhi would truly not get tired. He wishes he could follow her into class. From now on, when you don't have classes, come home and stay. No, it's too much trouble going back and forth. It's not troublesome, I'll pick you up and drop you off. Aren't you going to work? Oh, right. When are you going back to Europe? Not going back, and I don't plan to work. It's only for the next year or two. There's no need. It won't change anything, and it'll only make me sad. That's true, but I only have 3 more months at school. Those 2 years in my previous life were especially difficult, and I particularly wished I could go back to my university days. I felt like I was truly carefree and happy then. He fell silent. Because these past 2 days, browsing Weibo and the forums, he's seen countless people complaining about their lives. And when the apocalypse arrived, what they missed most was precisely the past they used to complain about. Every person on that campus is currently having the best year of their life, and 2 of them know it. When I'm around, will you come home and keep me company? I might have to go out in a couple of days. Where are you going? Immediately. He detected the tension in her tone and reassured her fast. I'm going to look for suitable warehouses. Since I've been reborn, I have to store supplies for us. She sighed. If only there were a space like in the novels. He smiled and shook his head. A space. He wants one too. Same wish, same day. Second time. They just said it to each other and neither one noticed. Home at 6:30. She looked at the dense wall of clothing on the balcony and praised his taste. Heng Zhi, are you changing your whole style and becoming a fashion leader? I'm 8 years older than you. I want to dress a bit younger. Smiled. There are spring and summer clothes for you on the master bedroom balcony. Go see if you like them. She glanced at him, muttering, what did he buy? Soon she came out, face flushed. Why did you buy underwear too? It's so embarrassing. Then covered her face. Those dresses are all very beautiful, but, how do I put it? They basically can't be worn in the apocalypse. I know, so while we can still wear them, let's enjoy them. When that time truly comes, we won't have any regrets. Okay, thank you. Nodded, very happy. That's the actual thesis of this man. He didn't buy her a wardrobe because he's rich. He bought it because there is a hard stop coming, and he intends for her to spend every remaining day of the world being spoiled rotten, because last time she spent them eating branches. Then the kitchen, one washing, one chopping, one cooking, one keeping company. Meal ready, sat facing each other. She looked at the handsome man across from her, cheeks flushing. He looked at the vibrant girl in front of him, smiling, reached over, stroked her face. My dear, dinner's ready. You're a feast for the eyes. After dinner, one washed dishes, one wiped the table. Like an old married couple, in perfect sync. Mei Li, watch TV a bit. I have something to do. I'll come join you in a moment. 361 days. Ask me again what he's got on that laptop. Study. Open the video, headphones on. Listened. Lin Bo, what did you say? You're not joking, are you? I'm telling the truth. I didn't expect it either, but I personally heard the doctor say it. President Yu has heart disease. How can this be? How can this be? Then he must be in real danger. Bootloader doctor prescribed a lot of medicine. He said President Yu needs to rest well and not overexert himself. I've waited for him for so many years. How can he have heart disease? Miss Gu, why don't you consider someone else? After all these years. Let me think about it carefully. He watched Miss Gu's hysteria. He watched Lin Bo's gentle comfort. And he watched a man in the corner whose lips curled into a smile after secretly listening to the entire conversation. That's him. He bought the tape and he's watching himself watch it. Turned off the computer, straight to the living room, pulled her into his arms as they sat. Don't be like this. I'm not used to it. Then practice more and get used to it sooner. Rolled her eyes, stopped paying attention to him. And he was in a very good mood. He hadn't expected Lin Bo to be so helpful. A strange twist of fate, but as long as the outcome is the same, it's fine. And the next day, a rumor went through the entire high-city business district. Yu Heng Zhi of Yu's group has heart disease. For a time, people were restless, and as it spread, it gradually transformed into, Yu Heng Zhi is seriously ill and doesn't have long to live. He needed a legal, unquestionable, non-suspicious reason to liquidate a multinational and vanish before the world ends. And the man who sold him out for 10 grand a call just built it for him, for free, in a coffee shop, because Ms. Gu asked. And she's been living a comfortable life recently, shuttling between school and home. Not many classes, so she either jokes around with classmates or goes to the library to read and study. At home, even more at ease. Besides cooking, there are almost no chores. He's arranged everything. She doesn't have to worry about a thing. Until Fang Min's third interview. Dear sisters, come congratulate me. I passed the third interview at Yu's group. And today, she wasn't wearing the usual gentle and generous fake smile. Today, she was genuinely happy. And Mei Li thought she looked much better than usual. Congratulations! You've finally taken an important step in your life. Smiled, congratulated her. She has to admit, Fang Min always makes a great first impression, so passing is no surprise. However, she'll be assigned to a branch company. And in the previous life, Fang Min pestered Zhou Mei Li to put in a good word so she could get into the main company. Which is why the guest list was 6 people. Which is why the dinner party had to be at her house. Every single thing that woman has ever done to her was a supply chain. Did you sign? How much is the monthly? Hu Jiayi, most concerned about this. Yes, I signed, but I got assigned to a branch, so my salary is 1,000 less than the main company hires. Hearing that, Hu Jiayi knew the benefits must be excellent. Truly envious. And only then did Mei Li realize that branch benefits differ from main company benefits. No wonder Fang Min clung to her so hard last time. A Min's already amazing. I heard over 700 people from our school applied. How many made it? Took her glasses off, pinched the bridge of her nose. She'd just finished her thesis and was waiting on her advisor. Acceptance was roughly 1%. I counted, 25 people signed in the end, only 9 from our school. She'd specifically tallied the numbers at the time, and now it's perfect for demonstrating how outstanding she is. Awesome, amazing. Are you going to treat us? 2 thumbs wiggling. Wink. Chuckled. You might not believe it, but I heard a little rumor during my interview. What is it? Used to the subject changing. In 4 years together, she has never once seen Fang Min treat anybody to anything. But everyone understands her. 4 years, 0 rounds, and they all just quietly built that into the model. I heard Yu's group's major shareholder, President Yu, is seriously ill, on the verge of death. Pfft, cough, cough. Sprayed her coffee. Fortunately, nobody was in front of her. Only the floor got it. Oh, why are you so excited? Quickly got a mop. I was just a little surprised. Wiped the corner of her mouth with a napkin. Pouted. How old is President Yu? If he actually dies, does it affect you much? Doesn't quite understand these things. I heard he's under 30, overworked. Being a senior executive isn't easy, the pressure's too great. The young woman who interviewed us said it has nothing to do with us. It's all shareholder business. The company keeps operating as usual. Nodded. That's good. I still haven't found a job. Min, if you know any good places, remember to recommend them. Okay, I don't have anything else on, so I'll focus on helping you next. Very satisfied. The air feels sweet when you're standing above people. Does Mei Li need my help? Quickly waved her hands. I've already found a sugar daddy. I'm just waiting to be a kept woman. Look at her laziness. You might as well find one for me instead. She's not lying. That's the funniest part. Every word of that is true. The sugar daddy is currently in a study, dismantling a corporation, in pajamas with a pink heart on them. Seeing the 3 of them chatting animatedly, she took her phone and left. Strolled the campus, found a secluded spot, called him. Hello, are you busy? Not too bad. Just sent off another group of people. Do you miss me? Yes, I heard some rumors. Heng Zhi, are you all right? I'm fine. I'll explain when you get back. Then when can I come back? You've had me in the dorm almost a week. Soon. When things here are finished, I'll come get you. Take care of yourself. Okay. Hung up, relieved. Bookstore, 2 sets of study materials. Supermarket, several boxes of yogurt, a bag of beef jerky, 2 bags of chips. Then thought a moment and went straight to a small restaurant and packed fish-flavored shredded pork, dry-fried green beans, and a rice. Came back to the dorm. Wow, it smells so good. Mei Li, why didn't you call me? I'd have definitely asked you to bring me some. Sniffing, joking. Mehendis more, this one's for you. Remainder, for them down. Picked the food up, handed it over. Quickly waved her hands. I was joking, and you actually took it seriously. Min just said she's treating us to lunch to celebrate. That's great then. What a pity. I've already bought mine, so I won't join you. It really is a pity. This is a Min's first time treating us. Chuckled. Didn't respond. Picked up her chopsticks. 4 years of never paying, and the one time she finally does, the girl she's going to kill is already eating. Sitting there. Not going. Nobody noticed a thing. Fang Min led the two of them downstairs and saw Li Kai waiting at the entrance. Approached, he took her hand. And she looked at the envious, admiring glances from passersby and felt pleased with herself. The four of them found a small restaurant on campus, which happened to be the exact same one Mei Li got her takeout from. 7 dishes. Satisfying meal. Afterward, the other two went back for naps, and Fang Min and Li Kai went to a movie. And back in the dorm, they found Mei Li not sleeping, diligently studying. Mei Li, are you taking an exam? Yes, I want to give it a try. Smiled. Didn't hide it. Everyone will know sooner or later anyway. But even if you pass, the salary isn't high. You're a law major. Even if you skip the big companies, you could go to a firm, and the pay there is very high. Pouted, thinking she's being irrational. Didn't mind, smiling. Salary isn't important. I just don't want to work too hard. And I'm a homeowner. So as long as I've got a job that earns enough to eat, that's fine. Besides, I have a fiancé. That really makes one envious and resentful. Ah, the rotten smell of love. Note what she's actually doing. She's studying for a civil service exam, because in a year, high salary at a big company means nothing, and the state has to feed you means everything. Aren't you having trouble finding work? Do you want to try it too? She can't say it directly, but she can offer some subtle guidance. I'll have to rent after graduation, and that little salary won't cover it. Big companies pay more. Jia Yi, this exam solves the household registration problem. Really? If it grants registration, I'll take it. Excited, because even big companies don't grant registration. Yes, I'm not lying to you. Okay, I'll do it too. Mei Li, didn't you buy 2 sets? Give me this one. She'd originally bought the books for Yu Heng Zhi, but since she asked, giving it to her first is fine. She can just buy another set before going home. Miss Qingyue, do you want to try? And give it a go. It doesn't take much time anyway. Nodded. She's got registration in a county under High City's jurisdiction, so that benefit isn't a huge draw for her. Hu Jiayi took out a copy and handed it to her. Here, there are 2 anyway. We'll share and swap. Took it, nodded with a smile. Watch this closely. She can't say the world ends in a year, so she said it solves the household registration problem, and just quietly handed 2 of the 3 women in that room a lifeboat, including one who will still be alive 4 years from now to watch her get beaten on a dirt floor. She gave it to them anyway. Another week, and finally the call. He's coming to get her. Packed her things and her documents, said goodbye to her roommates, happily rushed to the school gate. Quick, tell me, what have you been up to? The second she got home, looking at a living room filled with gifts and fruit baskets. These were all from people who came to visit me. Smiled, holding her. You didn't spread a rumor about a serious illness just to collect gifts, did you? Besides, do you look seriously ill? I didn't spread it, but it suited my purpose. May, I sold the shares under my name. Staring into her eyes, wanting to see the reaction. 37% of Yu's group, his father's life, the reason he went to Europe, the reason he lost her the first time. Gone. Start, it's good that you sold them. There's only a year or 2 left. Selling means you don't have to bother with it. You've worked too hard these past few years. She didn't think it was a big deal at all. I've gone from a business elite to an ordinary citizen, with no social standing at all. He was testing her. He put the entire empire on the table to see if she'd flinch. And she said, good, you were tired. 350-ish days. Ask me again what a man does with that much cash and that little time. It's all superficial. I don't care. In another 2 years, even money won't be useful. What good are those halos? Besides, there were so many people watching you before. Now you're just a rich, ordinary person, much freer than you were. He smiled. This is Zhou Mei Li, the Zhou Mei Li who's been where he's been. Because if it were anyone else, they'd have argued with him. This is equivalent to giving away the goose that lays the golden eggs. So you didn't stop the rumors just so you could sell the shares? Yes, I was afraid a sudden move would attract attention. The rumor gave me an excuse. Physical discomfort, no desire to manage. But you don't look like that. It's enough that the other shareholders are willing to believe it. My physical condition isn't important. What's important is that they can acquire them. Those old guys have wanted my shares for a long time. This is an opportunity delivered to their doorstep. Look, the gifts they sent aren't light. The fruit baskets in the living room. Those are apology gifts from men who think they're robbing a dying man. Who'd you give them to in the end? A few shareholders split them. From now on, Yu's group will be surnamed Su. So what are your plans? First, we get on the government payroll. That provides security later. We have a lot of money now, so in a while, we secretly store a batch of supplies. And she was stunned. How do you know there are benefits to being on the government payroll? Weren't you always in Europe? I was in the country about half a year. At that time, I had nothing on me. I walked back to High City from the border. And along the way, I learned about domestic policy. Mei Li, I'm sorry. I came back late. He walked from the border to High City, and he's describing it as a research trip and apologizing for the travel time. Not late. At that time, being able to hear your voice made me very happy. Perhaps I was reborn because you came back. Smiled, stroked his face with both hands. I'm also very grateful to God for letting me have you again. Gently kissed her forehead before holding her tightly. Meanwhile, in Shuhui Yuanlin Villa community, a middle-aged man roaring at a young man. What are you doing? I told you to buy Yu Heng Zhi's shares and you got none? None at all? Boss, we wanted to buy low, but then news of his illness leaked. Those old foxes from Yu's group were staking out his house every day, and their offers were higher than ours. He felt a bit wronged. He doesn't know how the news got out. And besides, the boss only gave him so much money, so it's not his fault he couldn't outbid people. You still have a nerve? I only told you about the illness. You didn't blurt it out, did you? Gu Renjie. He's coveted Yu's group shares for many years, and those old foxes are tighter with their money than anyone. He can understand it, though. Who wants to give money to other people? When his eldest daughter Gu Shujuan said she fancied Yu Heng Zhi, he was happy to see it happen. But who would have thought Yu Heng Zhi would then go to Europe? Years without him coming back. And, as Gu Shujuan got older, Gu Renjie arranged several blind dates. All young talents from High City, all families that were big names. However, Gu Shujuan was solely focused on Yu Heng Zhi. She'd either not go or go and wreck it. Seeing he truly couldn't control her, he stopped bothering. Let her like him. The man isn't in the country. She'll give up eventually. But then Yu Heng Zhi came back. And that day, after Gu Shujuan got home, she cried all afternoon in her room. He questioned her repeatedly until he found out. Yu Heng Zhi has a very serious heart condition and has given up his work abroad to come home and recuperate. And she was incredibly sad. She's liked him for many years. She wanted to marry that excellent man. But she doesn't want to marry a sick person, even a rich sick person. Many years of devotion, one rumor, gone in an afternoon. And while she was drowning in sorrow, her father heard an opportunity in it, comforted her, then immediately told his secretary to acquire the shares. In fact, he worried whether he even could, because even in poor health, holding shares still pays dividends. But then he thought, Yu Heng Zhi has no wife and no children, so maybe he's tired of the world and doesn't care about anything. He had to try. Opportunities are fleeting. Ask whether it works or not. The result was still a failure. A bit unwilling. If Yu Heng Zhi had truly refused to sell, he wouldn't be upset. The key is that Yu Heng Zhi did sell. He just sold to the old geezer surnamed Su. 2 people in this city knew that man was dying. Both of them tried to profit. Both of them lost. And the corpse is at home in pajamas grading practice tests. Feeling irritable, saw Gu Shujuan open the door, roared. Xiao Yun! Who else did you tell about Yu Heng Zhi's illness? I only told you. Full of grievance. How could that person be seriously ill? Then all over High City. Somewhat displacing his anger. Short code, I know. Maybe Yu Heng Zhi said it himself. Also angry. What does it have to do with her? She's already sad enough. Is Yu Heng Zhi sick? Would he go around announcing he's dying? He feels the news wouldn't come from that side. If you're seriously ill, you suppress it, fearing company instability. Isn't Yu Heng Zhi sick? Yu Heng Zhi is sick! Furious. Does he need to stab her in the heart? Yelled, slammed the door, left. Look at this brat. Getting more and more disrespectful. How did I give birth to such a wasteful thing? His heart ached. The secretary didn't respond. Helped him sit down. He felt truly exhausted, waved his hand. Forget it. It's not meant to be. You can go. It's not meant to be. Sir, you were played by a man in matching pajamas who bought a coffee shop's security tape as a side errand between shopping trips, and you'll never know. Mr. Yu, did you R.E. Ali sell your shares? Lin Bo, back in Europe after 3 days at home, couldn't believe it when he first heard. Yes, PR should announce it in a couple of days. Why, Mr. Yu? What will I do if you leave? I've been with you since I joined. If you're not here, He feels like the sky is falling. What future would he have? Smiled. The company recognizes your ability. If you're willing, you can stay in Europe. You know that business better than anyone, and whoever takes over will need your assistance. If you want to come home, I can arrange it. Although I'm not a shareholder anymore, Mr. Su will still give me that much face. Consider it. Contact me when you've decided. Hung up. That's the man's revenge. Complete. He offered him a job. Politely. And then he hung up and never thought about him again. The years of friendship are probably truly over. That's the entire sentence. No confrontation, no reveal, no tape played back, nothing. Lin Bo will die of old age never knowing he was found out. Zhou Mei Li, come see if there are any mistakes. He'd signed up for the civil service exam and conveniently filled in her information too. I haven't decided where to apply yet. Mumbling, walked into the study, and the second she reached the computer, he picked her up and sat her on his lap. Argument won't do. We need to secure this identity first. Fortunately, we came back early enough. This exam can be called the last chance to change our fate. I suggest the Human Resources Bureau. After the apocalypse, population and resources both become very important. The work might be a bit tiring, but that unit will still be a good one after. Okay, then that one. How many are they taking? 2. 1 law, 1 accounting. Spread her hands. Oh, the pressure is so great. Smiled, laced his fingers into hers. Don't worry, just try your best. I'll help you. And even if you fail in the end, you still have me. Smiled, leaned on him. Where'd you apply? The Administration Bureau, taking 4. I checked the addresses. Both are about half an hour's drive from home. So from now on, I'll drop you off on my way to work, and you wait a bit after, and I'll get you on the way back. She chuckled. It sounds pretty good. He liquidated a multinational and immediately applied for a mid-level government desk job and planned the commute, because in a year, CEO is a word and the state feeds you is a meal. Checked it once, no errors, uploaded the photo, submit. Now I can focus on reviewing. There are only 20-something days. She's still under a lot of pressure. Because Yu Heng Zhi is a true academic ace, learns everything fast, excellent memory, good at summarizing. And compared to him, she's a complete academic. Failure. So for the next 3 weeks, she did not go back to that dorm. She stayed home, enduring Yu Heng Zhi's mental onslaught and strict physical management. Woken before 6 every morning to memorize general knowledge, listen to news, read editorials. Breakfast at 8, then practice questions. After lunch, teaching time. He summarized many knowledge points and answering techniques. She's far behind on this, but she made great progress with his help. After dinner, a full set of questions to test the day's learning. Meet the standard, and she gets free time after 9:30. TV or music, either's fine. Miss the standard, and sorry. She's not thinking about sleep before midnight. She's doing more questions. Even if you fail, you still have me, he said, tenderly. 20 minutes before instituting a labor camp. She felt those 3 weeks were harder than her final year of high school. And whenever she wanted to give up, she'd think about the people in her previous life. The ones who, while she was struggling to survive, could still maintain basic dignity. And that gave her the motivation to keep going. That's what's under all of this, not ambition, not money. She's studying 18 hours a day because she remembers what it looked like to be a person who still had dignity while she didn't. Finally, exam day. He prepared everything in advance. Neutral pens, pencils, utility knives, erasers, rulers, all there. ID card and admission ticket together, and a handkerchief, and coffee. Don't be nervous, just use the methods you practiced. If you don't know something, skip it, don't dwell. And even if you don't pass, it's okay. Your husband can support you. Still worried after dropping her off, nagging incessantly. Okay, I know. I'll do my best, don't worry. At worst, I'll go home and be a freeloader. Time's almost up. You should hurry to your site. She wasn't really that nervous. The pressure was high during prep, but on the actual day, it is what it is. Do your best. Leave the rest to fate. Okay, I'll go. Wait for me here at noon. Raised his hand, checked the time. It was indeed getting late. Different sites, fortunately about a 10-minute walk apart. 2 hours went fast. Under his high-pressure guidance, she was very fast. Before papers were collected, she'd finished everything she knew and picked the most probable options for everything she didn't. And he can truly be called an academic ace, not a single question he didn't know. He can't guarantee all correct, but 90% should be achievable. Bell. Both handed in calmly. While most of the people in the same room were rushing and panicking, many not even finishing. Noon. Found a hotel nearby. Booked a room. Lunch. Rested. Set off again. Afternoon. Subjective questions. She had some difficulty, but filled the sheet according to her understanding and his teaching. Her hand was sore before she handed it in. And his side was still very smooth. Having worked many years and seen a lot, he could usually figure them out with a little thought and summary. Handed in. Didn't linger. Drove home. Buried herself in the quilt. It's you treat me like that again, I'm running away from home. Sat by the bed, smiling, stroking her hair. No. If you ever want to run away from home, tell me. I'll come with you. She chuckled. Good. It'll save me from being bored alone. Chatting and playing, discussing where to go for a big meal tonight. And then her phone rang. Mei Li, you're finally done.
When are you coming back?
Yang Qingyue, who hasn't called since she said she was going home to study. 340-ish days. Ask me again what's waiting at that dorm. In a couple of days, wait for me. I'll bring something delicious. Qiaoan, did you finish? I feel like it was so hard. So many things I didn't know. I feel like I'm doomed. Hu Jiayi's loud voice coming through the phone. Is this on speaker, Miss Yang Qingyue? How can I hear big voice Jiang? Ha 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 ha! It's me! We're all here! Not bad, not bad. You all sound happy. Sounds like you did well. Heh leave it to fate. Leave it to fate. When I get back, let's get together. Absolutely! We're waiting! Technically, that was a call between two people. Hu Jiayi has a very strong presence. And after the phone went down, did all three of you take that exam? Displeased expression. Yeah, don't you already know? Puzzled. They'd never hidden the studying. I knew you and Jiayi went. I didn't hear that Qiaoan participated. Hu Jiayi didn't think much of it. We all followed Mei Li. If she hadn't said it guarantees household registration, I probably wouldn't have bothered. But it's pretty hard. I don't know if we'll pass. Why didn't you tell me? All of you did it except me. And at that moment, she felt an inexplicable surge of anger. How could they exclude her? What kind of person is Zhou Mei Li? We're all in the same dorm. Was it necessary to play tricks like that? She wasn't excluded. They were studying in front of her for 3 weeks. Min, if I had told you, would you have taken it? Asked, seeing she was angry. No, gritted her teeth, decisively. Exactly. Yang Qingyue felt she was being a bit dramatic today. If you wanted to take it, nobody was stopping you. These two studied every day and you said nothing. And the second you heard Qiaoan did it, you can't sit still. How did Zhou Mei Li offend you? That's the question of the whole book. And a girl with a thesis just asked it out loud 4 years early. And nobody answered. Even if you pass, it's 5,000 or 6,000 a month. Yu's group pays 12. A hint of disdain. Just now, she was merely caught off guard when something got out of her control and didn't react in time. Now that she's calmed down, Zhou Mei Li is still not as capable as she is. The other two exchanged glances, pouted, said nothing more. One burden off her mind, she slept soundly, only waking at noon when he called her for lunch. I'll take you back to school in a bit. Stay in the dorm a few days. I'm going to Jin province to collect a batch of supplies. She paused mid-bite. How long will you be gone? Not sure. I need to inspect the safety too. I'll try for within a week. Take care of yourself. Okay. After lunch, drove her back. Passing a bakery, she got out for a cake, 8 egg tarts, and 4 milk teas. And the second she hit the dorm, an auditory attack. Ah! Qiaoan! Is this the delicious food? You're practically a mind reader. How did you know I wanted cake? Qiaoan, I love you to death. Come here, give me a kiss, moi. Shan Shan, control yourself. Laughing, pulling her off. But it really is a coincidence. Jia Yi kept saying last night she wished Mei Li would bring her cake, and you actually brought one. Ha, that really is quite a coincidence. It's not. She's done this year already. She knows what Jia Yi wants on a Tuesday, and she said what a coincidence and let the girl kiss her face. Less talk, sisters. Let's dig in. Not at all polite, took the cake-cutting job herself. Fang Min took her share, pursed her lips. Mei Li, I heard you took the exam yesterday too. How'd you do? Taxing, was all right. I filled everything in anyway. She's really quite interested in me. Whatever, as long as she doesn't join in. If I'd known you were participating, I'd have signed up too. Maybe all 4 of us in the dorm could have passed. Sure enough, right call not telling her. Otherwise, who knows how exasperated I'd be. Hehe, I only took it for stability. You're beautiful and capable. Of course you should go to a big corporation, expand territory, conquer all. Wouldn't want to waste the talent heaven gave you. As long as it gets rid of Fang Min, she'll flatter as loudly as required. Look at you! I'm not as good as you say. Mood instantly brightened, a hint of shyness on her face. Yes, 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 nodding like a pecking chick, begging, please spare me, stop staring at my small plot of land. She has clocked precisely that this woman's entire operating system is flattery-based, and she just fed her 4 sentences and got a whole afternoon of peace. Oh, Li Kai and I are getting engaged on May 20th. Everyone's welcome. Ah, so early? Amin, are you going to be a gradu-married person? Li Kai's grandfather passed away a while back. His family said we either marry within a year or wait 3. So we discussed it. Engaged first. Earn a down payment once we start working. Buy a house, then marry. So you're not necessarily marrying within a year? You'll marry when you buy the house? That's my thinking. But Li Kai says on both our salaries, buying by the end of the year is very possible. Smiled, nodded. His high salary was one of the reasons she agreed in the first place. Genuinely happy to see it. Let these 2 love and torment each other, so they don't go harm some other good family. Sighed inwardly. Fang Min is a life winner. You can't even be jealous. Yes, congratulations. If you need anything, we'll come help. As expected, warmth the second she opens her mouth. Thank you. Smiled, picked up a spoon, scooped some cake. Delicious. And definitely not cheap. Once she starts working, she can buy things without feeling bad. And as Mei Li ate, she thought about it. In the previous life, that thing with Li Kai's family did happen. And at that time, Li Kai wanted to marry her quickly and kept trying to persuade her to let him move into her house after the wedding. And she disagreed. Later, the conflicts grew, and they broke up after graduation. Thinking about it, Li Kai didn't really like me that much last time. Perhaps adults all start becoming realistic, even running cost-effectiveness on a partner. He chose to confess to her, perhaps because she had a house, or perhaps because it was confirmed she'd be joining Yu's group. And the breakup was probably because he felt he couldn't gain any advantage from her. And in this life, without those halos, Li Kai changed his confession target. There it is. That's the truth she was looking for. He didn't love her. He priced her. Remove the house, remove the job, and the great love of her life reroutes to the next woman in the room. Same week, same roses, same dress. She skipped 1 dinner party, and the whole thing evaporated. And here's the part that hurts. For Li Kai, choosing Fang Min was a very smart move. She's beautiful and capable, an orphan who can wholeheartedly devote herself to their small family. For example, right now, Fang Min unhesitatingly chose to take out a loan with him to buy a house. Anyone else might have considered it more, demanded a huge dowry from the Xiao family or something. This is good. It's very good. Time flew. The Zhou Mei Li had nothing to do. Finally, until the day of Fang Min's engagement, and Yu Heng Zhi still wasn't back. 1 week. It's been almost a month. He calls almost every day to report his whereabouts. She misses him very much and wanted to go find him, and he said it'd be too hard for her to follow him around, and told her to enjoy her last days of college life. Enjoy your last days of college life. He's not being romantic, he means it literally. The engagement ceremony was simple, a small thing at a restaurant, and it's the first time she's met Li Kai's family. Li's father and Li's mother looked very kind. She heard they're both middle school teachers, and she nodded inwardly. In a sense, They raised Li Kai very well. Looking at their happy faces, she sighed inwardly. They truly are a destined family. Two good people, two teachers, beaming, watching their son get engaged to the woman who will one day beat a starving girl unconscious on a dirt floor and then go home and rub her belly at him. And they'll never know. June. Thesis defenses. Once the date was set, she finally felt the sadness of parting. This is the last exam. And once it's done, everyone goes their separate ways. Walked to the podium, spoke eloquently about her ideas, answered several questions. And when the teachers nodded, she truly breathed out. Because that thesis was written before she was reborn. She couldn't remember much of it when she came back. It was only after studying her own paper several times that she could defend it. She had to revise for an exam on a document she personally wrote, because the woman who wrote it is technically dead. Yang Qingyue, as in the previous life, got an excellent rating. And Fang Min and Hu Jiayi, like her, merely passed. Fang Min was a bit disappointed. She thought she might get excellent. Mei Li, tomorrow, 6:30 a.m., library entrance, graduation photos. And just as she hung up with the class monitor, Gao Yang, the other three got the same notification. Sounds like everyone got it. I'm 6:30. What about you? Convert at 6 o'clock. Zaka's day after tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow at 5:50. Damn it! Is this discrimination? Why am I the only one on the day after? A bit distraught. She's been waking up late every day recently, and getting up early for photos is bad enough, but she has to go alone. The summer sun's strong. You can only shoot early. It probably just worked out that way. At worst, I'll come with you the day after, patted her head. Photo day. Light makeup. Light blue chiffon cake dress. Off-white heeled sandals. She looked at her vibrant classmates. Sighed inwardly. I wonder how everyone will have changed the next time we meet. I wonder if they'll be able to persevere. She's standing in a graduation photo, doing head count on who survives. Dragon Boat Festival. Went to collect her certificate and her photos. And the girl in the picture smiled like a flower. She gently stroked the photo, silently. It's different now. This life will definitely be different. Then the final celebration. Her law department scheduled dinner for the day after the festival, at the Anning Grand Hotel, less than 2 kilometers from campus. And coincidentally, Fang Min's Chinese department and Li Kai's computer science department picked the same day and the same hotel. Different floors. Everything identical to her previous life. And on this day, Zhou Mei Li wants to find a truth. She skipped the dinner party at her house. She skipped the confession. She has changed everything she could change. And this one event reassembled itself anyway. Same hotel, same night, same 3 departments. Whatever happened here happened without her help. Impressive turnout, over 100 students. Originally, each class had its own dinner, but several monitors discussed it and decided to combine. Everyone knows each other. They might even interact in their future jobs, so it's a good chance to build connections in advance. Excellent atmosphere. Lively. Not chaotic at all. Teachers gave blessings, students gave speeches, some performed talents. And yes, there were even 2 successful confessions. She didn't drink much tonight. She pretended to be a bit dizzy, and quietly watched the people around her. The meal ended without incident. 300-ish days. Ask me again what she's actually waiting for tonight. Afterward, the KTV next to the hotel, this time by class. 30-something people crammed into one big private room. Girls singing their favorites, boys playing games, occasional cheering, occasional singing along. Wine glass in hand, small sips, head slightly dizzy. What exactly happened last time? Why couldn't I find that ring the next day? Did I drop it? Or did somebody take it? Covered her chest with her right hand. Still there. That's the truth she came for. She's not here to graduate. She's here to run the tape back. Mei Li, your phone's ringing. Nudged awake by the person next to her. Everyone's bags are piled together, and the music drowns out ringtones. Only the people closest could vaguely hear it. They found the bag, asked around, figured out whose it was. And nobody unzipped it. Nobody takes the phone out and hands it over. They just pass the whole bag to the owner. And Mei Li thought, my classmates are all good people, so they probably aren't the ones who took the ring. Could I have just gotten drunk and dropped it? In the room? The restroom? On the way home? She's running a murder investigation at a karaoke party, and she just cleared 30 suspects by watching how they handle a handbag. Mei Li, I'm back. Where are you? Why is it so loud? It's Yu Heng Zhi, which did not happen in the previous life. So, things in this life are changing, and she probably won't find her answer. Our graduation dinner. We're at Garden KTV. Did you drink? Wait there, I'm coming to get you. 15 minutes. You're back! Her voice filled with surprise. The person she hasn't seen in almost 2 months. Yes, I landed this afternoon, tidied up and called you. See you in a bit. Mei Li!
Who was that?
You sound so surprised. My fiancé. He's coming to pick me up. Perhaps a bit much from the drinking tonight, making her seem a little silly. Bichaoen, you actually have a fiancé? A surprised exclamation that instantly silenced the entire room, leaving only the backing track playing. Sorry. I disturbed everyone. I was just too surprised. Mei Li's the youngest budding flower in our class. I'm 24 and I don't even have a boyfriend, and she's talking marriage. Scroll bar. Hurry up and confess. Your Rui Hua is desperate to get married. A male student joking. And then somebody actually stood up and confessed. Qiu Rui Hua hadn't expected such an unexpected gain. And that boy is also a great talent in the class. Usually quiet, very capable. She accepted, and excitedly hugged Zhou Mei Li, repeatedly calling her her lucky star. And Mei Li was very happy. This didn't happen last time. I wonder if these two ended up together. Everything is fate. She changed one dinner venue, and somewhere down the line, a quiet boy in the back found the nerve. That's the butterfly. That's the whole butterfly. She used the cheering as cover to quietly say goodbye to Gao Yang. And Gao Yang seemed a bit drunk and clutched her bag and refused to let go or let her leave. Nothing she could do, waited at the door. When Yu Heng Zhi arrived, she explained, and Gao Yang still wouldn't let go of her arm. And what Yu Heng Zhi walked up on was Zhou Mei Li looking helpless, comforting a boy holding her arm, with 2 other people beside him trying to coax him off. He walked over and, without needing much explanation, roughly understood. And before he could speak, Gao Yang grabbed his arm. You're the one who married our little sister from the class. You can't leave. If you don't pass our test, I'll make you two break up. The boys quickly apologized. He's drunk. And Yu Heng Zhi smiled and nodded and helped Gao Yang walk back into the private room. A drunk 22-year-old just threatened a man who liquidated a multinational last month with a breakup. And the man said, okay, and carried him back to his chair. And this is Yu Heng Zhi's first appearance in front of her classmates. The moment he stepped in, cheers. He greeted everyone gracefully, introduced himself, and invited them all to his and Mei Li's wedding, then sat with her and started chatting. And, under the music, nobody could hear a word, only see them whispering to each other, looking very intimate. Tell me about you and Gao Yang. Why is he so concerned about you? Left arm around her waist, lips at her right ear. He's a squad leader who cares about his classmates, that's all. Knowing full well he's teasing. Speaking of which, why were you gone so long? A week turned into 2 months. There was a small accident, so I was delayed a bit. An accident? What happened? Are you injured? Immediately anxious, quickly pulled his left hand over. And she froze. Where's the ring? Could I really not escape it? Mine's still here, so his is the one that's lost. He knew what she was thinking at a glance and said it fast. They're both here. Let's talk when we get home. Nodded mechanically, couldn't calm down. Distractedly partied until 11:30, then went home with him. And, on the way, she was still thinking. In her previous life, she drank a bit too much, and later Li Kai took her back to the dorm. She blacked out that day, and only learned about it from classmates the next morning. And later she asked Li Kai if he'd seen her ring. And Li Kai said no. There it is. She didn't come to this party to graduate. She came because on this exact night, in the last life, she lost the last thing a dying woman gave her. And the man who walked her home said he didn't see it. Home. Collapsed on the sofa, not wanting to move. So he walked over, picked her up, and carried her to the bathroom, where she forced herself through washing up despite the sleepiness. And as a result, wide awake again. Quickly grabbed him. What accident? What delayed you 2 months? He drew the living room curtains, and with a flick of his right hand, a bag of potato chips appeared in his hand. She covered her mouth with both hands. Is it what I'm thinking? Smiled, nodded. It's exactly what you're thinking. Turned off the light, walked to her in the dark, took her hands, and silently thought, Enter. Both of them wished for it, out loud, on the same day, in separate rooms. And the universe took 4 weeks and a wine crate to get back to him. And she found herself instantly moved from a pitch-black living room into a space as bright as day. But this space is a bit full. Heng Ji, how did this happen? How big is it? About an acre? In Nan province, while I was organizing supplies, I knocked over a box of red wine. My finger got cut on the glass, and blood got on the ring. Then the ring disappeared, and then I found a space in my mind. There's no day or night in here. The floor is jade. It's surrounded by mist. I tried walking into the mist and felt a resistance that gradually strengthened. I'm guessing there's some condition that lets the space upgrade. And the reason I didn't come back sooner is that I found this. To store more, I ordered a lot of shelving in Nan province to use the vertical space properly. Sir, you obtained a divine miracle, and your immediate response was to install shelving to maximize storage density. This man is going to survive the apocalypse out of pure spreadsheet. I visited several more cities, prepared supplies for several warehouses. If the space can upgrade, we collect them directly. If it can't, we quietly transport them back. After the apocalypse, we use the outside stock first, and save what's in here for emergencies. Things don't spoil in here, they come out exactly as they went in. The first time I came in, I found it very strange. This is a time-frozen space for supplies, and yet I, a living person, can physically walk into it. But it doesn't matter, as long as it's useful. Her eyes sparkled. Heng Ji, we are so lucky! I never imagined we'd have luck like this. Smiled. Isn't there another ring? Try dripping blood on it and see if there's a second miracle. Walked to the medical area, found the first aid kit, took out a needle, disinfected it with alcohol. Then took her finger and pricked it. A drop welled up instantly, and she was almost in tears from the pain. He quickly took the ring off her neck and held it out for her to drip on. The blood dropped, instantly absorbed, and the ring barely reacted. He told her to press the wound directly onto it. She obeyed, and the moment her fingertip touched it, she felt blood continuously gushing out and all of it going into the ring. And once it was saturated, the ring flew to her left ring finger and slowly vanished. And the wound on her finger vanished too. How is it? Is it a space? How big? Somewhat eagerly. It seems to be about an acre too, but it's different from here. Stunned by what she felt in her mind. Without another word, took his hands. Enter space. Instantly, different environment. Still very similar, about an acre, surrounded by white mist. The difference? His floor is jade, hers is fertile black soil. Mei Li, this is great! We can grow food in here! We'll never have to worry about going hungry again. Excited, hugging her, escalating. We won't have to worry about going hungry. 1 acre of storage, 1 acre of soil, a warehouse and a farm. 2 halves of the same object, handed to a boy and a girl by a dying woman who just said, "Keep it close." He sensed the low spirits. Why are you unhappy? Weren't you so excited you wanted to scream when you found out I had one? And she felt so wronged that the tears came up on their own. On this day in my previous life, I drank a bit too much and blacked out. The next day I woke up in the dorm and my ring was gone. I went back to the KTV to look. The cleaning staff said they never found it. I asked Li Kai, the one who took me back, and he said he hadn't seen it. And at the time, I blamed myself terribly for carelessly losing something that mattered. I promised Wang Auntie I'd keep it close, and I lost it, just like that. And later in the apocalypse, I had a very hard time. And Li Kai often brought me food. And I wondered then, Li Kai is capable, sure, but why does he never lack food? And later he had bodyguards, and his status kept climbing, higher and higher. And he'd still bring me food every so often. And that day was my nightmare, because the second Li Kai left, Fang Min would come. And now that I'm looking at all of this, I think I understand where Li Kai's status came from. But why did he keep coming to find me? And there it is, that's the whole first life, solved, standing on an acre of black soil. He didn't rise because he was capable, he rose because he had her ring. And every single time he showed up in that slum with a bag of rice, it was the woman he'd robbed, being fed by her own stolen inheritance. And Fang Min beat her for it, every time. Perhaps a guilty conscience. Or perhaps he couldn't fully control the space. I suspect the latter. He probably thought you were the ring's owner and might know something. And even if you knew nothing, he'd have to keep you under his eye. It makes it more convenient to act when needed. Regardless of the truth back then, Yu Heng Zhi did not hesitate to speculate with the greatest possible malice. And in fact, his guess was pretty much spot on. Here's what actually happened. On the way back to the dorm, drunk, she swayed unsteadily and was restless. And when she bent down, the ring fell out from her collar. And at that moment, Li Kai didn't know what possessed him, but he picked up her necklace and put it, and the ring, into his pocket. The next day she called and asked about it. He gripped his right hand nervously. He said he hadn't seen it. He didn't know why, but he was very reluctant to give it back. And he kept telling himself, I just picked up something somebody lost. It's fine, it's fine. But no matter what, he knew what he'd done was illegal. Qi, recalling that moment, it felt as if he'd lost his rationality. Distracted all day. Accidentally broke a water glass, cut his palm. And when he used a tissue to wipe the blood, the ring got stained with Li Kai's blood. 300-ish days. Ask me again what that ring gave the man who stole it. Stunned. Oh my goodness, this is actually a treasure, the legendary space. And at that moment he felt even more strongly. Zhou Mei Li can absolutely never find out he took it. Found a red string, tied the ring, put it around his neck. Thinking he'd buy fishing line later, he's heard that's the strongest. And he thought it'd be best to break up with her, because if they stay together, she'll eventually find out. And finally, he thought of a solution. After graduation, she moved back home. And one day, Li Kai brought some of his more outrageous relatives to her house to show off. Arrogant, blocking the doorway, shouting, demanding to move in. You dead girl! You'll be a Xiao family member when you marry in. This house is ours, the Xiao family's. Move aside. If you don't let us in today, you can forget about ever entering our Xiao family door. Furious, she called and scolded him, and broke up with him. And Li Kai smiled, systematically and quickly called to appease the outrageous relatives, promising to treat them to a good meal. Only then did they grumble and go home. He rented his own family as a weapon, for the price of one dinner, to make the woman he robbed dump him so she'd never look at his neck. Afterward, he happily stored many things, food, daily necessities, toys. He also bought many seeds. However, Li Kai felt that farming was too tiring. And with money, what can't you buy? Who would have thought the apocalypse would come? Food production fell year by year, and it was then that Li Kai realized what a treasure that ring was. He didn't dare tell anyone. He secretly entered every day to farm, avoiding people. And food matures exceptionally fast in there. So while everyone else was skin and bones, the Xiao family stayed rosy-cheeked. White teeth, plump figures. Which is how the higher-ups noticed him. And the higher-ups were still humane. They didn't imprison him. They didn't dissect him. They didn't bring him. Both parties reached a cooperation. Li Kai supplies half the grain. They sent people to follow him, both protection and surveillance. He didn't mind, lived his daily life as usual. Why did Li Kai suddenly become a key protection target? That question, from Chapter 1, In the Slum, answered. But slowly he discovered the space wasn't very stable. The more grain he planted, the stronger the feeling that it wanted to fly away. He didn't dare tell the higher-ups, only felt anxious. And finally he decided to test Zhou Mei Li. Brought some grain, found her, very thin by then. Some pleasantries, then slowly got to the point. And she knew nothing. He suddenly lost all his mood and got up to leave. However, she didn't want to take his grain. Firstly, in an apocalypse, grain is life, and she couldn't repay it. Secondly, she'd angrily scolded him at the breakup, said many harsh things, and didn't want any more involvement. But after all, it was because of her he had this opportunity at all. Deep down, he still felt somewhat indebted to her. And, as the two pushed and shoved, he grasped her wrist. And a miracle occurred. The trembling space went calm. He found it incredible, and also felt it was only natural. Perhaps because his means of acquiring it were improper, it vibrates. And when it meets its original owner, it quiets down. Therefore, from then on, every single time it shook, Li Kai went and found Zhou Mei Li, and took the opportunity to hug her, to make it stop. Over time, this gave people the misconception that he still cared about her. She couldn't drive him away, and 2 years passed like that. And that's how Fang Min came to resent Zhou Mei Li. Sit with that for 1 second. Every visit, every "Mei Li, why are you still so thin?" Every bag of rice, every hand on her waist she couldn't get off. That was maintenance. He was charging at her. And a pregnant woman watched her husband do it and concluded the starving girl was the problem, and beat her to death for it. Nobody in that triangle knew what any of it was. Zhou Mei Li would never find the truth of her past life. And here's the mercy. That ring is passed down by the Yu family to the Yu family's wife. And Li Kai, being a man, naturally could never become the Yu family's wife. If the one who'd bonded it had been a woman, she might never have been reborn at all, or gotten the space back. It was precisely because Li Kai was a man that the space went unstable after taking him. As for why she could quiet it, firstly, she'd worn it against her body for years. It was long since imbued with her aura. Secondly, Yu Heng Zhi held the other ring, and Yu Heng Zhi was constantly thinking of Zhou Mei Li. The ring was homesick. And here's the cruelest fact in this entire story. In his previous life, Yu Heng Zhi was also unlucky. Fixation the ring in his own hand. Not once. Not until he died. Which is why the Yu family space sat in Li Kai's neck for years. If he'd been luckier, if he'd bonded as earlier, he'd have noticed the anomaly and taken it back. He wasn't that lucky. Later, he painstakingly found her, and by then, she was barely clinging to life. His heart died. And he died with her on that snowy night. He wore the answer around his own neck for 7 years. Under his shirt. The whole time. Across every airport, every meeting, every night he lay awake missing her. And he never cut his finger. And here's how they got here. When Zhou Mei Li took her last breath, the space on Li Kai, as if summoned, extracted its vitality and flew toward her. It combined with the ring on Yu Heng Zhi and exhausted its energy to carry the two of them back. It wasn't God. It wasn't a system. It was an object his mother gave a 16-year-old girl, watching its owners die in the snow, spending everything it had left to undo it. And when she died, Li Kai felt waves of palpitations. Quickly went in to check, found nothing abnormal. Continued living as usual. Until several months later, when he suddenly realized it hadn't vibrated in months. Could it have fully merged with me? He couldn't help feeling secretly smug. And Li Kai didn't know that this was the beginning of his nightmare. Here's what he actually has. A remnant. Although he could only ever see 1 acre, there were things beyond the surrounding white mist. Complementing that land, continuously injecting vitality into it, which is why plants matured so fast. Zhou Mei Li's death took the vitality with it. Now, behind Li Kai's mist, there's nothing. Growth can only draw on the residual vitality left in the soil. If it were 1 harvest a year, plants could replenish some and keep it running. But Li Kai doesn't know that. He's long since accustomed to the rapid harvest mode. So the land not only gets no replenishment, it's continuously burning what's left. And one day, when the last of it is gone, the space collapses and dissipates. That day may still be far, or it may be very near. But no matter what, it comes. He's farming a corpse, harder every season. Because he's the biggest supplier of grain to a starving nation, and half of it is due on schedule. And the day the soil runs dry, the man who feeds the government stops feeding the government. And nobody has to do a single thing to him. That's the whole revenge. It's already loaded. It's been loaded since the day she died. The above is the truth Zhou Mei Li searched for across 2 entire lifetimes, and she'll never know it. They didn't stay long. Brief discussion. Exited. He waited in the guest room until she was asleep before going back to the master bedroom. Lying there, hard to sleep, mind working on Li Kai. And here's what he decided. The apocalypse is less than a year out. No matter how he punishes Li Kai now, it won't matter once it arrives. And the most painful thing for a person is to fall from a high place and lose everything. So he thought about it and decided, let Li Kai be smug for 1 more year. And then, when the apocalypse comes, let him sink into the mire. He's not going to ruin him. He's going to let him climb. Let him get the bodyguards. Let him get the deal. Let him become the man who feeds a nation. And then let the soil run out. Next day, both woke late, almost noon. Seeing her still lounging in bed, unwilling to get up, he indulged her and ordered takeout. Set up a lazy table on the bed, arranged the food, sat facing each other, eating and chatting. I'll go with you to pack up the dorm this afternoon. Startled. Everyone hasn't moved out yet. It's the last week anyway. We'll part sooner or later. Everything at the school is settled. Staying is a waste of time. Scooped her a bowl of soup. All right then. There'll be a parting eventually. If fate allows, we'll meet again. A sip of soup. Said no more. And here's why she agreed so fast. In her previous life, she kept in touch with everyone after graduation, and contact dwindled after the apocalypse. And slowly, some people were no longer around. So after she came back, she's been keeping her distance. Because she knows she can't change other people's fates. And she's afraid of hearing that news again. She's not being cold, she's already buried these people once. Lots of vehicles coming and going lately, so after he greeted the security guard, he was waved right in. First time Yu Heng Zhi's ever been allowed to drive onto that campus. Parked downstairs, registered with the dorm mother. And walked into the dorm she lived in for 4 years, for the first and last time. Mei Li, who is this? She knew before the door opened that Hu Jiayi, that character, would make a fuss. If fiancé, Mr. Yu Heng Zhi, hee. Hugging his arm, introducing him. Hello, the legendary fiancé, first time meeting. He truly is a man of exceptional talent, dignified, a dragon among men, and as graceful as a jade tree in the wind. Ha ha! Happily extending her right hand. And Yu Heng Zhi found this classmate quite interesting. A bit of a chatterbox, but her eyes are very clear and upright. Nodded, shook her hand. I shook a handsome guy's hand again. Ha ha ha! I'm definitely attracting romance this year. Instantly broke character, hopping around like a little madwoman. Hold it in! Aren't you ashamed? You need composure. Watch me. Learn from this. Pulled the spinning Hu Jiayi back. Walked with dignified steps, extended her right hand. Hello, Mr. Yu. I am Yang Qing Yue, Zhou Mei Li's good roommate. It's a pleasure to meet you. So, what do you do for work, Mr. Yu? What's your monthly salary? Do you own a house? Do you own a car? Can you afford to support our Mei Li? Also, when are you getting married? How far has the relationship progressed? How many little monkeys do you plan to have? The composure demonstration. You two are enough. Go easy. If you scare my Yan Ming away, where am I going to cry? Will you compensate me? Quickly laughing to smooth it over, afraid she might infuriate him. Because she remembers he hates strangers asking him questions. He finds it very annoying. And at this moment, Yu Heng Zhi wasn't angry at all. He cheerfully answered every one of Yang Qing Yue's questions. Miss Qing Yue smiled and nodded. Not bad. This man seems capable and responsible. A good one. And Zhou Mei Li was slightly surprised. Did Yu Heng Zhi change his personality when he got reborn? What she doesn't know. He's wanted to assert his dominance for a long time. They'd been together a few months, and opportunities to appear together are rare. So of course he had to make a good impression the second he got the chance. He's not being nice. He's staking a claim. In front of witnesses. Mei Li, did you bring your fiancé here to treat us to a meal? Mei Li said her dorm mates have always looked after her, and with graduation coming, she brought me to meet you. Readily agreed. Would the two of you do us the honor of joining us for dinner? Absolutely. You pick. Tonight we're emptying your wallet. Nodded foolishly. She's been having a feast lately. Someone's treating her every other day. Luckily, she isn't afraid of getting fat, otherwise the double chin and the little belly would be quite bothersome. And Yang Qing Yue is more perceptive. You two are here for something, aren't you? Pursed her lips, lowered her head, a bit embarrassed to say it. Her two out-of-town roommates haven't even left yet, and she's already packing. It seems a bit unkind. It makes her look heartless. And he knew her concern and spoke. I happen to have time today, so I came to help her pack. She's a little reluctant to leave you all, but I'm afraid I won't have time in a couple of days. And she's just a girl. Yang Qing Yue's eyes immediately reddened, holding back tears. With so many things, it's indeed hard to move alone. It's good we're all here. I'll help. And Hu Jiayi's excitement vanished, tears streaming, hugging her tightly. Mei Li, I can't bear to part with you. I don't want to separate. If you leave, I won't see you again. And Mei Li also felt bad. Who said we won't see each other after I move out? We can still meet on weekends, eat, sing, watch movies. If you miss me, come see me, or call me and I'll come find you. If you leave, I won't see you again. She's drunk and dramatic and she has no idea. In the world Mei Li remembers, that's not a joke, that's the schedule. All right, Jiayi, let's help Mei Li pack. Aren't you still getting a big dinner tonight? Seeing she was on the verge of breaking down, diverting. Right. Pulled out a tissue, wiped her face, started helping. You two keep packing. I'll take Mei Li's bedding down first. Carried a rolled up bedding, went downstairs. During graduation season, men in the girls' dorm aren't uncommon. But his appearance is so outstanding he attracts attention wherever he goes. Wow, is that somebody's boyfriend? He's so handsome! 300-ish days. Ask me again who's watching him carry that bedding. No way, that man looks very mature. He must be somebody's brother. It's so lucky to have a handsome brother like that. I wonder if he has a girlfriend. Can I volunteer myself? Girls peeking out of dorms, girls deliberately walking past, girls whispering. And then the door of dorm 408 opened. Suya, what are you doing at the door? Why don't you come in? I opened it, and there was a big person standing there. You scared me to death! Rolled her eyes, patted her chest, complaining. Liu Xiaojuan, look, he's perfect! Infatuated, excited, pulled her out, pointed at the retreating figure. Mr. Yu? A low gasp. Liu Xiaojuan, the one who lives in 1601 4 years from now, the one who calls Fang Min a snake with a scorpion's heart and then goes into her bedroom and says nothing. She's here, right now, 22 years old, in a dorm doorway, looking at him. No, it can't be him. Muttering, shaking her head. Hey, pretty lady, do you know that guy? Does he have a girlfriend? Quickly, seeing she seemed to recognize him. I don't know him, shook her head. His back just looks a lot like someone I know, but that person's abroad, so it can't be him. Oh, never mind, I'm going to eat. Put on her shoes, left. By the time she reached the entrance, he was bending over, stuffing bedding into the back seat. She glanced over. Sure enough, not him. How could someone as wealthy as Yu Heng Zhi be driving an Audi? Pouted, grumbling inwardly. Only the figures are similar. Their actual capabilities are worlds apart. Then strode off in her heels, not looking back. The low-key car, bought years ago because he hated attention. It just saved his entire life a second time in 1 week. She was 4 meters away, and she disqualified him for having the wrong badge. Over half an hour to get it all into the trunk and back seat. The other two to go rest, she'd collect them for dinner in half an hour. Drove to a secluded spot. Looked around. No cameras. Got out to keep watch while she put all the miscellaneous items into her space. Then drove back to Qingyu, at which point only her textbooks, quilts, and bedding were left in the car. Specifically left. To cover their tracks. And the two of them made 2 or 3 more trips to carry it all up to 1602. And here's why they didn't just vanish it all on the road. He doesn't want anyone noticing anything unusual. Too many people in High City know him. And someone in some corner might notice they never went home, but their belongings are gone. Even if it's a bit troublesome, it's worth it for safety. They have a pocket dimension, and they're still hauling boxes up 16 floors like normal people, in case a neighbor is paying attention. That's the difference between them and Li Kai in one paragraph. Evening. Private room at Yu Xuan, a famous restaurant in High City where a single meal can cost 4 or 5 figures. Yang Qingyue and Hu Jiayi have only heard of it. Indicated the menu to the 3 of them. Order whatever you like. No. I feel pressured. I don't dare. Wenyuan, you order. Waving her hands, refusing to open her mouth. Yang Qingyue was also very awkward. Flipped through it. Ordered the 2 cheapest vegetarian dishes. Seeing that, Mei Li took the initiative. We splurged today. You're being too polite. Order Ji Ge is rich. You won't bankrupt him. Yang Qingyue quickly patted her hand, signaling, shut up. How can you be so unhelpful? Aren't you afraid of making your boyfriend angry? Quickly checked Mr. Yu's expression. Mr. Yu, don't listen to Mei Li's nonsense. She's still young. She's telling the truth, interrupted. I can afford to support her, and I'm sincerely treating you today. Don't worry about the price. Order boldly. Hearing that, they finally ordered a few dishes that looked appealing and had very reasonable prices. Given explicit permission, twice, by a man who owned a multinational last quarter, and they went for the reasonably priced ones, because they're broke and polite and it's who they are. I can't believe it, Mei Li. You actually found a big tycoon. You're really bleeding money today. Fawningly. Speaking of which, Fang Min really missed out, missing a meal like this. Why didn't Fang Min come? I didn't see her this afternoon. Forgot to ask. Quickly interjecting. She noticed hours ago. She just didn't want Fang Min anywhere near Yu Heng Zhi. She didn't come back early or late. She just had to go to the Xiao family with Li Kai today, without much thought. Originally, I thought about calling her, but Wen Yuan said it's her first time at the Xiao families, so it wouldn't be appropriate. Yang Qingyue quickly added, "It's better she doesn't know. Otherwise, if she can't come, she might even blame you for picking a bad time." Understood. Nodded. You're right. That's not Mei Li protecting herself. That's Yang Qingyue, who has independently arrived at don't tell Fang Min things through 4 years of pure observation. By the way, did you check your scores? Remembering they'd come out today. They're out? She actually hadn't noticed. Yeah, today! I barely made the interview stage. Jia Yi hasn't checked. She says she's scared. Nodded. I am scared. I'm afraid I didn't pass. It's one cut whether you stick your neck out or pull it back. Check it. If you made the interview, everyone's happy. If not, go find a job fast. Not giving her the chance to back out. Tell me your admission ticket number. I'll check for you. Seeing she couldn't avoid it, she reported her ID and ticket number. The page loaded, and Mei Li didn't speak. It failed, didn't it? Actually, I had a premonition. I just didn't want to accept reality. Guessed it from the silence alone. You were a little short. She was very short, but Hu Jiayi's been struggling to find work. And Mei Li didn't want to dampen her confidence further. Jiayi, have you ever thought about going back to your hometown? She actually thinks going home would be quite good, especially with the apocalypse approaching. Being with your family is a very happy thing. My family all hopes I'll make a name for myself out here. It's not too late to go home after trying and failing. Then fell silent. She's under a lot of pressure, okay? She finally got into university, only to be unemployed at graduation. She's begging her to go home. She can't say why. She can only say, "Have you thought about it?" And the girl said, "Not till I've failed." Send Mei Li your resume tomorrow. I'll ask around. Yu Heng Zhi, breaking the silence. Stunned. What does that mean? Is it what she thinks? Mei Li laughed at the silly expression. Heng Zhi has a lot of friends who own companies. A few seconds of stunned silence. Then, am I riding a golden leg? Is my luck finally turning around? My golden leg is only for Mei Li to hold. You're benefiting from Mei Li's light at most. Smiled, shook his head. If she weren't Zhou Mei Li's roommate, he wouldn't meddle. She didn't care. I'm holding on to Xiaoan's golden leg then. Stop laughing, you're being silly. Also happy for her. She really hadn't expected Mei Li's boyfriend to be this capable. Oh right, we've only talked about my stuff. Check yours. Got up, plopped down next to her, eyes locked on the phone screen. Urging. Mei Li didn't mind her seeing. Entered her info, page loaded. And as expected, first place, straight into the interview. Chaoan, that score is so high. You're definitely getting in with that. Staring at the screen, dumbfounded. How much? Interest peaked. 21 points scored higher than you. 146. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. She's practically guaranteed to ace the interview. Also shocked. The gap between people is just too wide. The gap between people is just too wide. Ma'am, she was drilled 18 hours a day for 3 weeks by a man who runs multinationals and remembers the future, with a hard midnight penalty. Smiled shyly. It's all thanks to Mr. Yu's excellent teaching. I'll toast Mr. Yu. Raised her glass, gestured, small sip. Your fiancé taught you? The golden leg took the exam too? Pfft, Hu Jiayi, what kind of a dress is that? It's too ugly. Almost choked laughing. And Yu Heng Zhi wasn't angry. Smiled and used a napkin to wipe her mouth, then handed his phone over. She looked down and thought, this is the difference between a top student and a genius. Hu Jiayi leaned in cheekily. Damn, the golden leg scored 163. He beat her by 17 points, in an exam he studied for while liquidating a corporation, buying 2 department stores, and running a private surveillance operation on his own assistant. Ever since that gathering, she's been kept at home, not allowed out. Yu Heng Zhi, just let me go out for a stroll. I haven't left the house in a week. Clinging to his arm, pestering relentlessly. No, it's the final stretch. Focus on your studies. Smiled, patted her head. No sign of compromise. One walk, just one. Please, dear. My written score was so good, the interview will be a breeze. She's calculated that, barring accidents, she passes with minimal effort. Mei Li, you can't have that mindset. There's always someone better, and we can't say for sure what the second-place scorer got, right? Mei Li, we both know how important this is. His tone suddenly serious, determined to kill the casual attitude in the crib. I know, I was just saying. A little wronged, let go of him, turned, went back to the guest room. He looked at the closed door, and felt a pang of reluctance. I'll take you out tomorrow, but after we get back, you study hard. No more going out before the interview. Finally compromising, knocking on the door, speaking through it. Okay. Seeing she didn't come out, he didn't linger. Made a few phone calls, left. He held out for 9 seconds, the immovable disciplinarian, folded through a door. Early next morning, set off with a fully geared up Zhou Mei Li. First, the rental agency for the box-type mini-truck he'd booked the day before. Then toward a suburban orchard he'd contacted earlier. Today we're going to the orchard to collect a few fruit trees. Growing fruit trees in the space is pretty good. After the apocalypse, fruit and grain yields dropped fast. Fruit gradually became a luxury. In my previous life, I didn't eat fruit for over 2 years. After a night, she's not angry anymore. She knows he's doing it for her own good. We can grow vegetables indoors, farm outdoors, and put the fruit trees in the space so it doesn't attract attention. Not, I want apples. Fruit became a luxury. I went 2 years without it. Same information, completely different sentence. 2 hours, arrived, found the owner, explained. To be honest, I really don't want to sell you these trees. Look, they've already borne fruit. If I grow them myself, I get income every year. Boss Tang, leading them into the orchard, chattering as they walked. 300-ish days. Ask me again what a man pays for a tree that's already fruiting. Tourists come and pick them themselves. The cherries are gone this year, peaches are just coming in. The apples are still green, edible but sour. 2 more months. He listened to the incessant talking and smiled. Is Boss Tang not satisfied with the price? Startled, then laughed. The price is acceptable. I'm just a bit reluctant to part with trees I've raised this long. People come to buy sometimes, say they want them in their villas, in their yards, for scenery. And few of them can actually grow them. Most of them die. And it pains me. Don't worry, we'll take good care of them. Nodded, feeling he's truly passionate about his work, admiring him greatly. Actually, Boss Tang, you could find us some young ones, just beginning to fruit. We're planting at a villa. We'll nurture them until they mature. He also feels the old, high-yield ones would be hard to dig out and haul. Better to take ones that just started. And with her space to nurture them, there's no worry about whether they'll fruit later. Excitedly rubbing his hands. Are you serious? That's wonderful. I've run this place for years and I cultivate saplings every year. It takes several years for them to fruit. And this year I happen to have a batch that can. They just haven't produced much yet. Hee hee. Yes, just pick us healthy ones. No pests, no disease. Led them through the orchard, constantly introducing varieties, management, maintenance, and casually untied the red ribbon off his own wrist and tied it onto the trees they picked. He's not upselling, he's teaching, because someone finally asked him something a person who loves trees would ask. Final haul: 3 apple, 3 pear, 5 cherry, 2 pomegranate, 2 walnut, 1 jujube, 1 apricot, 1 fig. It sounds like a lot. It's basically 1 tree of each kind. And even as small saplings, the rented truck couldn't hold them all. Filled the bed, drove toward the countryside. An hour. Foot of a mountain. Little human habitation. Got out, observed, nodded. She climbed into the bed and put the saplings away. Then sat in the car. He took out 2 bento boxes, ate quickly, drove back to the orchard. Had Boss Tang's people load the rest. Then ordered several more boxes of fruit, fresh picked. Wrap back to the mountain. Everything into the space. Back to the orchard again. 2 full round trips, because a man with a pocket universe still has to look like a man with a truck. Boss Tang had it ready. 5 boxes of peaches, 1 box of red dates. And to thank him for the business, a packet of seeds. Watermelon, cantaloupe, passion fruit, cherry tomatoes. All individually bagged and labeled. He labeled them, by hand, as a freebie. That man just handed the last two survivors on Earth a genetics bank as a tip. Thanks, left. Dusk setting in. Stopped at a farm tool store, bought a full set of implements. Back at the rental place, it was fully dark. Returned the truck, moved 6 boxes of fruit and the tools into his own car. Drove home. Quite a few items, so he pulled up in front of the garage and called 2 young security guards from the community to help. 4 of them, 1 trip. The 2 guards were about to leave after setting the boxes at the door of 1602 when she stopped them. Took out 2 plastic bags, filled each with about 10 peaches, gave 1 to each of them. Overjoyed, and somewhat hesitant to accept. Because they help people in this upscale community constantly, and few people give them anything. And the 2 young men felt they'd done a small favor and were truly embarrassed to take that much compensation. Take them. They're not anything valuable. Placed the bags in their hands, smiling gently, nodding. They no longer refused. Proactively told him their names, and offered to be called if he ever needed anything. Available anytime. Smiled, acknowledged it, turned in once they got in the elevator. 20 peaches, 2 names, 2 men in this building who will now do anything for him. In a year, that's a bigger asset than the shares he sold. Bro, is that really Mr. Yu from Yu's group? He doesn't seem to have any heirs at all. Li Zun. Rich people are not all the same. You just got here, so there are things you don't know. You'll understand after a while. Most of the arrogant ones are upstarts. No real depth, unreliable. Someone like Mr. Yu is truly cultivated. If you treat him sincerely and you have difficulties later, he will do his best to help you. Fang Yifan, patting his shoulder. And here's a detail worth holding. The Qingyu security all go through strict assessment on joining and receive a list everyone must memorize. Names, photos, unit positions of every resident. And Fang Yifan's worked here 5 years, seen many people, knows many rumors. There are men at that gate who know, by memory, exactly who lives in 1601 and who lives in 1602. Remember that. After they left, unpacked every box, sorted the bruised peaches and dates out, put the good ones together. Once organized, he put away 1 box of dates and 3 of peaches. I'll give some of the good ones to my old friends tomorrow. Do you want to give some to yours? Didn't you say I couldn't go out? Rolled her eyes. Oh, my life is so bitter. Then picked up the bruised ones, washed them, dug out the rotten parts, left only the good. Let's eat these first. They can't be stored. It'd be a pity to waste them. The bruised ones. She kept the bruised ones for herself, not out of virtue, out of muscle memory. He hugged her from behind, chin on her shoulder, whispered into her left ear. Wait a little longer. In half a month, I'll take you on a world tour. Are you serious? Felt his breath on her ear, whole body tingling, voice unconsciously shy. Depends on your performance. Couldn't help chuckling at the flushed cheeks. Slapped the large hand off her waist. You just like teasing me. A world tour, on a countdown. He's not showing off. He's making a list of everything that's about to stop existing. After dinner, she pulled him into the space. On the fertile black soil, today's trees were scattered around, and he's never planted a tree in his life. But he figured it should just be dig hole, bury soil, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Use the tools, dug 18 holes, fully accounting for the spacing they'd need when grown, so he made the gaps very wide. Once dug, she placed the saplings in, by type, same ones together, then the next type. Fortunately, they're small, and she could still carry them. Once placed, he buried them, 1 at a time. Another busy spell, and all 18 were in. It would be great if we could plant trees with our minds. A little distressed at the sweat on his forehead. It's already a blessing to have a space. Even if it's a bit tiring, it's nothing. We're already much happier than most people, not caring at all. From now on, I'll do the farming. You just be happy and do whatever you want. I'll help you. I'm not afraid of being tired. In my previous life, I farmed for 2 years. I just feel bad for you. Okay. Agreed verbally, didn't take it seriously for a second. Because in her previous life, Mei Li had nobody to rely on and could only suffer and endure. And if the Mei Li of this life still lives that tired, what would be the meaning of his life? That's it. That's the whole man in one line. He doesn't want to save the world. He doesn't want the company back. He wants her to never do that work again. Left, washed up, went to their rooms. Next day, divided the peaches into portions. First, a bag each for Hu Jiayi and Yang Qingyue. Then arranged to meet his childhood friends at Yude Xuan. I say, young Master you truly are a busy man. Back from Europe for months, and you haven't even bothered to see us. Shu Guangming, teasing the second he cleared the doorway. However busy I am, can I be as busy as the great Dr. Shu Guangming? Smiling, hugging him. Master, it's been in your mouth is still the same. Damn it, if I weren't familiar with you, I wouldn't joke with you. Who doesn't know I'm the white-clad god of our hospital? Shu Guangming is said to be the male doctor most desired by the nurses of the first hospital. He Lei, following him in. Haven't seen you in years. You're not leaving this time, are you? Not leaving. I'm staying from now on. Smiled, patted his shoulder. Then the girls of High City are in luck. Ha 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 ha. Zhou Wei Ming, the fat man, winking. You don't know how many people were heartbroken when you left. Somebody suddenly asked me about you a while back, and I cursed them for being sick, only to hear later you'd actually come home. Somebody asked about him a while back. That's Gu Xiujuan. Even his friends were being surveyed and they thought it was a joke. I'm just an unemployed vagrant now. Shaking his head, smiling. By the way, did you really sell your shares? I heard people say it. I didn't believe it. Yes, Sue's group has already announced it. Damn it! Yu Heng Zhi, are you out of your mind? Why did you sell? Immediately agitated. Alas, poor health, no heart to manage. Then couldn't help bursting out laughing. I told you he was faking it. With that physique, how could it be like the rumors said? Yes, Yan Ming always has a reason for everything he does. Nodding, smiling. By the way, why did you call us here today? Can't I just treat you to a meal? Not getting straight to the point. Sure, but I always feel there's something else. He trusts his intuition, and he feels Yu Heng Zhi's return isn't as simple as the outside world claims. Let's eat first. Talk after. There really is something, isn't there? His intuition once again validated, feeling a little uneasy, not fully enjoying his meal. After dinner, no longer concealing it. Indeed, I invited you because I need your help. Shu Guangming, I want to acquire a batch of traditional Chinese medicine seeds. I'm an outsider in that field. Find me a few people who can collect as complete a batch as possible. No rush on time. Price is negotiable. Quality matters. And if there are high-quality finished medicines, collect a batch of those too. Also, Western medicine. You work at a hospital, you have channels, prescription and non-prescription, and medical equipment. Oh, and prepare extra insecticide and treatments for various parasites. Hooray! I want a batch of down jackets custom-made at your family's clothing company, the super thick kind, at least twice the fill of anything on the market. Also a batch of sun-protective clothing, best materials, and a few designed as cloaks. Wei Ming, a batch of canned meat, a batch of canned fruit, a batch of pickled vegetables, and a batch of compressed biscuits. Should be easy for you. Everyone, whether you can help or not, please keep this confidential. Look at that list one more time. Double fill down jackets, and sun protective cloaks, parasite medicine. Seeds, not medicine, seeds. He's not preparing for a winter. He's preparing for a winter, then a sun, then a world where nobody manufactures antibiotics anymore. And he just said it out loud to 3 men in a private room and asked them not to gossip. All 3 felt a jolt. Yan Ming, what do you need these for? What happened? Fell silent, pursed his lips. After a struggle, Europe hasn't been very peaceful these past 2 years. I always feel like something is going to happen. Not peaceful. The news didn't say anything. Fatty, are you stupid? If something serious were going to happen, would it be on the news? Couldn't even maintain his smile. It wouldn't be the apocalypse, would it? Astonishing words, everyone's attention. Black, is that possible? Shu Guangming, are you out of your mind? Aborted Ming definitely has delusions. Yan Ming, what do you say? Both of them refocusing on him. He sighed. I'm not sure either. I just noticed some movement in Europe, and I'm a bit uneasy. A doctor guessed it, in one try, at dinner, from a shopping list, and everyone laughed at him, and the man who knows said, I'm not sure either. The other 2 fell silent. Then Shu Guangming spoke. No matter what the situation, I'll help you, buddy. And I also know that if you wanted these things, you wouldn't need to go through US at all. So I'll pretend I never heard about this, and so will you too. Whoever dares speak of it, I won't acknowledge you as a brother. I'm not ungrateful either, Yan Ming, thank you. sincere. Understand what just happened. Xu Guangming figured out the whole thing in one sentence. He knows Yu Heng Zhi could buy every item on that list without them, which means the list wasn't a request. It was an invitation. Their names on a supply chain months before the sky changes, and he never had to say it. And the doctor said thank you. 300 days, give or take, and here's where we are. A girl who died under a snowdrift owning 3 bricks is now first in the province on a civil service exam, sitting on an acre of black soil with 18 fruit trees in it, wearing a bracelet worth more than the room she died in. A man who spent the last 3 years of his life walking home from a border is now unemployed, unbothered, buying peaches for security guards, and quietly building the only functioning supply line in High City out of the friends he grew up with. Across the hall in 1601, nobody lives yet. In a dorm across town, a 24-year-old is picking out an engagement dress, doing math on a man she'll settle for. In a computer science department, a boy with a bright future is about to graduate having never met a ring. And in a coffee shop, in a hospital, in a villa, 3 separate people are still holding a rumor about a heart condition, thinking they were the clever ones. Nobody knows anything. Nobody knows anything at all. And when it comes, it isn't going to come with an announcement. It's going to come the way it did last time, silently, on a Tuesday, on the evening news, item 4, after the sports. And 2 people in a 240 square meter apartment are going to look at each other over dinner. And they won't have to say a word. Ask me again what the rain does.